Thank you so much, Craig, for always handling all this stuff with Zoom. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate you and
Makes it
everybody
easy on
here.
us.
All right. Looks like we are go. There we are. Fantastic. Well, welcome, everybody. It is Saturday or Sunday, I should say. Sunday. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Pushing the new week there is real fast. Sunday, March 24th, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, or whatever time it is where you are watching us right now, because you are watching us right now. That's just it. So thank you so very, very much for joining us. This is the Imaginators. I had to do that. The echo and everything
I'm
like that.
jealous.
I'm like, wow. Craig's pulling out all the stops.
Why not? And we're just so glad and happy that you are with us on this amazing Sunday. Couple of quick things. If you have something that you would like to share with us, of course, raising your hand, that's the way we do it. Or you can type your question in either chat, in either the Zoom or YouTube. I haven't posted the link for those of you watching on YouTube yet, but as soon as we get things started, if you want to join us, I think Matt may be on that right now, the way I saw him kind of look around. We'll post the link in the top of the chat on YouTube, and then you could join us here in Zoom, because the whole point of this is that you get to chat with Robert Hollis and exactly that. See, Bob, we will have the Zoom link there shortly. Katie Sanders, yes, we will
I'm
have it
grabbing it
shortly.
now, Craig.
There
I'm
we
on it.
go. So they're in the
Yeah.
YouTubes and they're saying, we want in, we want in. Well, you know what? Okay, we'll post it there, but please understand that we also post it in on the emails. We post it on the telegrams.
Along with the passcode, John. Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get things moving along. We appreciate
I was gonna
you.
joke and say I've been thinking about adding an extra couple of steps, for some reason.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Um, I haven't checked who the most recent Imaginators are, because Matt, Robert, and I were really in a nice conversation. So I will announce and welcome the brand new Imaginators shortly. But, we want to get started. So if you want to talk to Robert directly, put your cursor in the middle of the screen. If you're with us on Zoom, that's the only way you get a chance to talk to Robert directly. There you go. Yes, exactly, Robert. Put your cursor in the middle of the screen. On the bottom, you'll see a bunch of buttons. One of them is reactions. If it's not there, click on the three dots that say more, and then click on reactions when that appears. Then click on raise hand, and we will call on you. And then you get the chance to talk to Robert directly and share your Imaginator process. That's why we're here. We're here to help you create. We're here to help you imaginate, and we're here to help you to move on to the next level. So I hope you're all ready. Oh, there's Katie. Okay, she's in. Coach Bob's in. Good, good, good. So we got our people in from the YouTube, and Lisa Marie just already got her hand up. But first, before we get started, let's give it over to the gentleman who is our Imaginator in Chief. I like to say that because I think it's right. What do you think, Robert? Yeah?
I like that.
Yeah, Imaginator in Chief. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Hollis!
Thank you so much, Craig. Imaginator and MCI.
Imaginator. MCM? Imaginator? I don't know. What?
Imaginating chief.
Why does Master Imaginator not sound right to me for some reason?
Master Imaginator. Yeah,
um,
I always
Why are
heard
you
that
guys
about,
laughing? I don't get it. I don't
yeah.
understand.
It's like a professional fisherman, right?
What is that called?
A masturbator. He's baiting a hook. You know
or
what I
is or the
Exactly.
people that are in submarines, the men that are in submarines, they wouldn't they be considered sea men?
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Welcome to
Um,
high school once again.
We're
Hey,
imaginating.
Middle
if
school.
anything has to do, if anything has to do with imagination, isn't it like jokes and puns and riddles and it's like all this stuff, you know what I mean? We'll get into the songs and the poetry and the art another time. It's like we digress, right? And so the first thing I want to do with every one of you is I love, I ever since we started Imaginator, it's just brought the creativity out of in me like you would not believe. And so what I'd like to do is start with a video, if you guys don't mind. And when we start with this video, again, to sort of see how fast you can change your state. And then I got some quick little ideas for you guys. And then what I'd like to do different with the Imaginators is have some people that before we ask questions, that actually have some people that are getting some results from being Imaginators. You know what I mean? So hey, this has helped me, this has helped me, this has helped me. And I think that really will be amazing. So let's start out with the video, and Craig, um, put this out here.
All right, give me a quick second here.
It's out here.
Imaginating. Quick second. Give me a quick second here.
Imaginating chief.
Why
Someone
does
talking?
why does master
Talking?
not sound right to me for some reason?
It's out here.
Imagine. Quick second.
I think we're getting multiple. What is master? What is master? Why are you guys laughing? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop it for a moment here, guys. I'm sorry. Hang on a second. There's just too much going on.
We believe so much.
I'm sorry.
Wait
a minute. I got too many voices in my head, so you're gonna have to give me
I was gonna say,
here.
Is that the amount of noise that's normally going on? Because holy shit, I'd be going insane.
Oh my God. There we go. All right. Let me try this one more time. Sorry about that. Got that to shut down and.
Yeah, I agree with Peter. It's like my edibles are kicking in. I don't know what's going on here.
Okay, that there.
It's these new performance gummies.
Oh, that'll do it. Okay.
Those things are amazing, y'all.
I was gonna say, now I can listen to 5 things at once. You guys think I was listening to audiobooks and stuff before? I mean, connected now. High speed fiber optic.
I think I got it all here now. Let's see here. Boom. Boom. That's there. All right, that's the one that we want. Sorry, too many dinos is exactly right. Let's try this one more time. And I should have that there.
I can only imagine what it will be like when I walk by your side. I can only imagine what my eyes will see when your face is before me. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, what will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in awe of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees, or will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when that day comes, when I find myself standing in the sun. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine. Only imagine. Surrounded by your glory, wanna will my heart feel. Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, surrounded by your glory, wonder will my heart feel? Will I dance for you, Jesus? Or in all of you be still? Will I stand in your presence? To my knees will I fall? Will I sing hallelujah? Will I be able to speak at all? I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. Yeah, I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. I can only imagine when all I would do is forever, forever worship you. I can only imagine.
Wow.
Robert's muted. Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Oh man, I held it better together than I normally do. And I used to do that on stage, show people that on stage. And again, like I'm saying in some of the videos, don't get mad. But if videos like this don't touch you, we need to figure out why. We need to figure out why. So the short story to this is I will post this in the group. So what basically ended up happening is the father was 36 years old, and his son he asked his son what he wanted to do, and his son said that I want to race. He had no marathon experience, no nothing. So the guy never ran a marathon, never did anything. And so he took his son out running. And when he got done, his son told him, because his spine was messed up, his son said on computer that he said, when we run is the only time I don't feel handicapped. I don't feel handicapped at all. And so he retired, his father retired, and I don't know how much money can be made by just taking your son on a run, but he didn't care. Here's where people get messed up. It's like, you know, him and his wife just said, we'll figure it out. I don't know what's going to happen. So, of course, when you see the video, pretty inspiring. While he did it, he just simply, one person was smart enough to say, hey, you know, they'd like to be in more races and more marathons, you know, more triathlons. And the goal was that they needed money for traveling. They needed money for all this. And the team Hoyt, everyone just started throwing millions of dollars at them. And I think you guys can see why. There was a lot of major corporations that just came out and sponsored them. Just said, geez, here you go. So now listen to this. They raced in over 1,130 marathons, 72 Ironman. So when you see the one where he puts them in a raft, blow up raft, go swim that amount, then picks them up and puts them in a deal where he can run. And then I might have messed up the sequence. And then from there, they get on a bike. So they made special equipment and stuff for them. But man, did they inspire people. And so you can constantly look all over. It was, and they're one of the first in the story that I heard, God, there should be a documentary on them if there's not. But when races started, because of them, they always had more people. When people estimated that the father and son would come across the finish line than the crowd that was there for the winner. Isn't that freaking nuts? So you get, tens of thousands of people to show up to see who wins it. But more people would figure out the time that Team Hoyt, his father and his son, would come across the finish line. And there was always more people there. And so the only reason I wanted to share this with you guys is there's no way I can tell you guys how important it is for you to consistently watch people that are Imaginators. I know that I'm drilling down on that one word because, it's like most people that you see that do unbelievable things, which I would call miracles, didn't know how they were going to do it. And that's when it goes from our imagination to our thoughts. And that's when we start beating ourselves up. Well, I don't know anything about marathons. My son has no use of his limbs or his mouth. So how can I run with him? How can I put him on a bicycle? How can I swim with him? You know what I mean? When you guys see miraculous imagination, it's the people that did stuff when no one else had a book before that. So that's what inspires us, because Rick Hoyt did not get to go to and say, I wonder who's running marathons and triathlons that has a handicapped son. Where do you go to? And I know that you guys might have heard this from me before, but there's a book by Wallace Wattles that's called The Science of Being Great. The Science of Being Great. And what great people do is they put their imagination out there, and then they just believe 1,000% that the way they're going to go is going to be the new way. I've had people reach out to me and go, I don't know how to stop what I'm doing to do what I imaginated. Nike figured that out before everyone. Just do it. So everybody wants to do this transformation, right? But how many of you have had children? It's like, one day you're not a father, and then the other day you are a father. One day you're not a mother, and the next day you are a mother. Now, some of us would think that, wow, you might be thinking about this for a long time, and then through the pregnancy, you sort of feel like you got 9 months to get prepared. But there's literally nothing that can prepare you for that, right? It's like, what was that word that people used to say all the time? Is on-the-job training. So it's on the Imaginator training, right? And so one last thing I want to share with you guys too is we always talk about this garbage in, garbage out. If you don't change what you're plugging in, you're going to continue to loop and do the things that you don't like. So really be aware, really be conscious of things that you do that destroys your imagination. I had one of the inner circle members, and I'm not going to call them out here, but they sent me something about, I don't know, someone was talking about all the lies in Biden's State of the Union and how it was, not only lies, but how it was going to ruin our planet and stuff. I didn't watch it. People send me this stuff. I don't watch it. All I wrote behind it is, I said, so when's the date? When's the date? What date is it? And he came back and he goes, I don't understand what date. Well, what date is the world going to end? I am not interested in entertaining things that get me to imagine in the wrong way. Right? So I believe AI will get me there quicker. That's what I want to imagine. I don't want to imagine that AI is going to kill me and it's going to destroy the world, destroy my children, because that might stop me from imaginating. Did you guys catch this? And the other thing, regardless of where your imagination is, how can you not go all in? Right? I don't understand how you cannot go all in. So the other thing that I would ask for all of you to do is when you go to YouTube, there's the search bar above. YouTube's got its own search bar. I would ask you to very simply put in there words that mean the most to you. So we talk about, Shirley and video games or knitting, but, fishing. That's when I really love imaginating, because when you guys see that people make more than a six-figure income a year, most people make over millions, whenever they become the inspiration or the imaginator in that category. And it still blows my mind that, someone can make millions of dollars by drawing stick cats, instead of stick people. It's, I'm going to draw a cat for you today. Or they can make a full-time income sharpening pencils or stacking plastic cups. I heard the other day that because, spring's coming, right? So we got these people that are doing what they love to do and they get paid to do it. You know what I mean? So this guy said that now he's going to go to taking pictures of birds. I always watch Sunday morning, right? And they go, what do you make? How do you make money? So he says, when birds come back, because of spring, he takes pictures of birds, and he's got a YouTube channel and a podcast where he talks about birds. And they go, how long have you been doing this? He said, ever since I went to college. He said, I quit college because I was making so much money of people wanting to buy my bird pictures. Can someone help me out here? It's like, just because you think it's stupid doesn't mean it's stupid. So for other people, so they go, well, what happens when the birds migrate away from New York? He goes, I take pictures of leaves. So there's a lot of people that, look at all the different color leaves and just go, oh my God, that's beautiful. Another guy takes pictures of it and does a blog and a YouTube. Hey, look at the pictures of the leaves that I took today. And so, I just ask yourself to find these stories like I do that get my mind to go, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Because there is a part of my mind, I hope in your mind too, where you go, oh my God, if that person can do that, then I can do what I'm called to do. And so one of the ones that I heard just recently, a statement, and it was by that Grogan guy. You know, he's the guy that's the ex-military dude that's the, you know, so disciplined and screaming at everyone. And he said that he just said straight out, he went, I don't understand how people can flourish and be fulfilled in life if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So sometimes people say stuff that really like slaps you upside the head. And he goes, I just can't imagine how many people on the planet every day hate their frickin' life because they're not willing to do what they're supposed to do. They do what everybody else tells them to do. And that's why LinkedIn recently did a study, and 78% of the people that are employed right now are looking for something different. So, yeah. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Craig. And again, Lisa, I don't know what you want to say, but if anyone wants to really quickly give us some praise reports, you know, praise reports like we did last week. You know, you hear people stepping into their realm like Katie and Kelly. And, you know, I'm really excited about Ola, you know, so I've known Ola for a long time. And for him all of a sudden saying, I'm not living like this anymore. Is there any way I can interview you? And I said, absolutely. And he does it. And now I feel like I'm talking to a different person. And some of you, how many of you say things because other people say things, but you really don't believe them? So Ola reached out to me and he went, oh my God, I just realized something. I just imaginated something. And I go, what? He said, you showed pictures of people in Hungary doing meetings. And I said, yeah. He goes, you really get paid 24 hours a day, don't you? And I go, I do. I wish I could track it, but I can guarantee you guys, I probably have at least one person in every time zone. Let that sink in. They not only have tens of thousands of people responsible for your income, but they're in every time zone. That's pretty awesome. So I love and appreciate you guys. I know you can do it. Please believe in yourself, but please be very, very protective about what you allow in this imagination, right? So Craig, I'll open it up to you. And
all right, we got 3 hands raised, and so that is awesome to get started here. We've got Katie Sanders, we've got Sandy Baker, not necessarily in that order, but first we are going to get started with Lisa Marie Cook. Oh, Bill Shoemaker's hand just went up, so he's also on the hook.
Of course.
There. Of course.
He's got to yell out Craig Jackman.
But let's get started first. Lisa Marie Cook, go ahead, open up your microphone and please share with us.
Hey guys, how's everybody?
Blessed and highly favored and deeply loved. How are you, Lisa Marie?
I am the same. Thank you so much. I missed you guys yesterday. I think that is the first one I've missed in like a year. Good grief.
Oh my God. I hope
I am like hooked to your hip joint there. You get rid of me. But anyway, I do want to say something that I think is working for me. However, nobody else seems to think that, but it doesn't matter.
Who are these people?
I know, right?
You're the only person I know, Lisa Marie, that's got these people standing around you telling you that it's not going to work?
You know what I do? I need to slap the shit out of them and just
Why?
move on. Good
Why give
grief.
them a minute of your time?
Well, because I'm married to one of them.
Yeah, but the only way that they know that you're doing something is because you told them.
You know what? That's not true. That's not true. But I didn't come here to complain
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I want to share. I I do want to share what I think has been working for me,
Please, please.
and I believe it's doing the interviews and with these people from Pakistan. I know everybody thinks I'm half off my rocker, but I really don't care because I think this is a back door to my other part of my vision. It really is.
Yeah.
You
So
can,
when you said, I really don't care, then never ever speak about it again.
okay.
So,
Okay.
because listen, if I did it back to you, Lisa, because it'll sound really awesome. Oh my God, I can't tell you guys the imagination I have right now. You know, I'm doing these interviews with people, I'm doing more content. I know this is going to lead me to the dreams of building buddy plays and having all these wonderful imaginations. But I got these people around me that beat the shit out of me and tell me I'm an idiot. Would you just say, Robert, I didn't need to hear that last couple of sentences? Yeah, but I did. I did. No, you don't. No, I did because I said it. Thoughts are things, comes out
Yeah.
of my mouth. I like the part of Lisa Marie that went, you know, I'm doing these interviews and a lot of people think I'm silly, but I don't care. What if you didn't say that people think I'm silly?
Uh, People are, don't you know their religion? It's like, oh my God, I didn't even ask what their religion was. I mean,
Don't you
why would
know,
I?
don't you know that Jesus Christ loved people?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
do you want to not be like Christ? If you don't
No,
want to be like Christ, shut your face.
right.
Learned in school, if you don't have nothing nice to say nothing at all.
And by the way, I did not watch that State of the Union either. I should, like, shut it off.
Yeah, well,
Whatever.
I can watch
I,
all kinds of things to piss me off.
right, exactly. I
I
got
just don't
pissed
want
off
to be
because
in
I
that.
turned it on.
Get up in the morning and go, oh my God, what's my goal today? To find some stuff to make me feel like shit all day. Yeah, yeah, you know, so
Yeah.
what could I watch to make me feel like shit? Let me get on some news
He,
channels. Let me get on some, you know,
okay,
just
let me try to explain what I'm talking about, if you don't mind,
sure,
because this is the only place that I can share something
good.
like this. So,
But keep
um,
it positive.
yeah, it is positive. It
It
is
is.
amazing
So,
positive.
so what are words that you could use instead of the ones that slipped out? See, I don't want to be critical with you, Lisa Marie, because I
Mhm.
know that you're going to make it. But if I hear the things that could just put little dents in it, you
Right.
know, have you, you know, you played softball, right?
Hmm.
So if you're trying to put the softball in a certain place and you hit it, but you hit the softball 1 or 2 degrees off, where does it end up?
Right. Well,
Foul ball.
probably.
Foul
Or
ball.
right at a person, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what ends up happening is just 1 degree off. So if the thoughts that you have, you either like windshield wipers, you put it on pause, you know, or you put it on delay and you have the thought and then you go, not saying it. Or you get better and you say the thought and then you change it. It's like, well, I'm doing these interviews right now, and a lot of people are going to love them and start viewing them, and then they're going to go viral.
Hmm.
See, you just go, ooh, I almost made this chess move, but I didn't take my fingers off of it. And so I'm going to move it back.
That would
And
suck even more, right?
yeah, so,
Yeah.
but see, I don't want to, please don't feel like I'm beating you up.
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay,
Not at
good.
all.
Because because 98% of the stuff you said was right on.
Right, you're right. Yeah.
98%. So
Mhm.
tell me in your imagination, as you do interviews with all kinds of people that we should all love, I think it's pretty interesting that people judge people when the very book that they claim to believe in says you shouldn't.
Exactly. Why
It's,
is that?
it's because
It's like they're trying to confuse me.
I'm going, you need to read the Bible again. That's what I tell people, because you just
Yeah.
cherry pick the scriptures that you want to use.
Right, right. All right, let me play this story out to you.
Okay.
So I'm interviewing all these people, and this gentleman that founded that school, the very first internet school, for these kids in Pakistan, they actually, every time I give them an interview, they earn $1.
Yeah.
So I absolutely am helping this cause, right? If they
Right.
miss one, they got to pay $1. I don't know where it gets at, but
Cool.
anyway,
Great
so these
motivation.
absolutely. So these kids, I mean, this is very important to them, but in that process, the founder of that school keeps introducing me to people all over the world. I'm meeting people from other countries that have rescue farms. He's like aligning me. And then I just met this woman that just, I mean, she threw up the other part of my vision right in my face. It's just like boom, there it was. And my mind went, "Ah, wow." But anyway, that had something to do with the orphans. And I absolutely could have both right here on my property. I couldn't figure out how he's going to do that. And
Right.
she just put it right in my plate. And it absolutely is possible. So I feel like I've got people on hold because I don't know which direction. And and Freddie's like, pinning me down, pinning me. You gotta know this, gotta know this, gotta have a business plan, yada 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 yada. Gotta. I said, can't we just see how it all plays out? Can't we just
Yeah.
do that? So I'm thinking the right way that I should,
Yes,
right?
you know you are.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
here's how you know without a shadow of a doubt that you're going in the right direction. It feels right.
It does. It does.
Feels right. And so if your imagination is, if I keep doing these interviews, even though I love doing it and it's a win-win for everyone, I'm putting content in, so you realize
Right.
for these people that have millions of people on their YouTube channels, the only videos they've done is interviews with people that are now
Hmm.
called podcasts. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I tell people all the time, hey, if you don't think interviewing people is a good thing, then how did Barbara Walters make money?
Hmm. Hmm.
How did
I
Oprah make money?
actually think I've gotten good at interviews. I think I've gotten better, really
I have
better.
no doubt because you're doing it. You're doing it with
Right.
the right heart and the right intention. And
Hmm.
I don't want to ever come on here. See, it's funny because I wish that you wouldn't bring up Freddie.
Hmm. Well, I wish I didn't have to. I
You
wish
don't
I
have to.
didn't.
You don't have to.
I feel like it's a huge my biggest deterrent. I
All
really
right.
do.
Well, if it is, you're right. See, that's the Henry Ford. If I can't, I can't. And if I can, I
Hmm.
can. I
Right.
can't tell you, Lisa Marie, how many people I've met in my career that became massively successful because someone was constantly trying to stop them.
Really.
It's it's such a motivator. I'm going to shut my spouse up. I'm
Hmm.
going to shut my in-laws up. I'm going to shut my friends up. I'm going to shut my ex-teachers up. That is an internal motivator for you to be able to go, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
There's also something, Lisa Marie, that I'm glad that you brought it up this time, but just think about this. You're looking at the wings on the horse. You're on the back of the horse and you're about ready to take off. And then your imagination does this. You see Freddie hanging onto the horse's tail.
That's exactly what happens. Yeah.
Did you just stop the flight?
No, I had some wind turbulence. I
See?
had the wind turbulence. It was blowing me back.
Yeah.
But
Where if you can't stop doing that stuff, then you got to take your imagination to the place where you look back just for a brief second. You're upset at Freddie for holding the tail and stopping your imagination. And then you see the horse kick him. Why are you laughing? This is your husband we're talking about.
I know, bad, Lisa.
No, you're laughing.
I wouldn't want him to be kicked.
You're laughing because you're supposed to be laughing. After things that I imagined, this was when I first got involved in imagination, is I looked at the people that believed I'd never become anything. And when I was giving my speech for hitting a rank, that I flew them in and told them that it was a vacation and it's like a timeshare. I said, all I need you to do is sit in the audience. I got saved chairs for you. And you only have to sit there for about a half hour. And then have someone bring them in and sit them down while the owner of the company or whatever started talking about awards. And then, of course, they said me and Terry's name, and we walked up on stage, and I looked at them and just went, no, you don't have to. You don't have
what
to.
a satisfying feeling that would be.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
So see how you can switch your imagination? Now, do you ever think that I ever told people that were against me about my imagination?
Wow.
Yes.
I started,
No, not the way you do it. I said, listen, one day you're going to be in an audience and you're going to see me getting an award for doing stuff that you said wouldn't work. I can't wait for that day. That's the imagination that I shared with them.
Right.
And we both have bad relationships, right? So the weird things that I imagined that I was going to do to my ex-wife before Terry, oh my God. Like, her son, pulling into the driveway to visit her, and he pulls in this vehicle and they're like, what the hell is that? It's a Rolls Royce. Whose is that? Dad's. I made that dream happen.
Nice.
But then it didn't matter anymore.
And you could be super sweet and be just, right? Super sweet.
I never had to say anything because here's where it really gets sad. All right. When you start pulling these stuff off to really shove it down people's throats, they're still the same person.
True.
So if you heard the story that I said about mailing my first book to my mom.
I remember that story. That is so heartbreaking.
So I put a bunch of pictures together, put them in my book, autographed it, wrote her a sweet note, and mailed it to her. And she took the book, looked at it, pulled the pictures out of the book, and threw the book away. So then I called her.
I thought she threw the pictures away too.
What?
I thought she threw the pictures away too.
Probably later. But yeah, that's the way you guys got to do it. There's people that you feel, don't try to win them over. Have an imagination in your head about a situation that's going to happen, right? And you don't have to say a thing.
You're
You know
right.
what I mean? You don't have to say anything.
I
And
just
so,
need to keep my mouth shut. That's going to solve a lot.
yeah, we want,
Mm.
I think it's weird to me. Well, it's probably just more human. I think you guys would all agree that we want the people that we love and care for the most to join with us,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, imagination is a one person deal.
Right. I like my imagination. I just am living la la land. I'm cool
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And that's another reason for Imaginator. Wouldn't you guys agree?
I was leaving
Absolutely.
to say, Dad, what's so funny is it will shift, Lisa Marie. What will end up happening is you'll pull it off, and then it will
Mhm.
be like, oh, now I can be included in this and let me have an opinion in something that you've created. You're like, actually, this only exists because you were fighting me on it to a certain
Yeah.
extent. So I don't think I want your
And
input.
and
But
You
Matt,
know,
actually,
that's true.
Matthew, thanks for bringing that up because there was times when Matt is figuring out himself, and again, he's so far ahead where I was ever, at his age. But Matt one time came to grips that he had this unbelievable imagination about storytelling and movies and being a director and writing scripts. And I could see that in him. I could feel that in him. But how many of you know that when you're sharing something with someone, when they're really not paying attention?
You know.
Yeah. So Matt
Mhm.
was saying he would come up with this script or come up with this story, and then he would be so imagination and he could see it happening and everything. And then he comes in and sits down with me and his mom and his brother, and he's going, let me share with you my imagination. And we're all like, ain't doing nothing. Ain't doing nothing for me. Do you guys believe that I'm good at supporting people I love?
Yeah.
I can't fake it. I can't fake it. So Matt would hey, let me tell you about this story. And I'm going, yeah, go ahead. Being
You
polite,
know, and
being the best father that I could. And he's going like, he ain't getting it.
yeah,
and
there's
I
a
should
moment.
know better because I do the same thing to him.
Well, we
And he's
mirror, right? Like this is one of the biggest things in my life to realize is that if you see anybody that's like incredibly creative and it's so uniquely their creativity, they have hardened to the idea, not to other people's constructive criticism or input, but they've hardened to the idea that they're right in their own ideas. Like, oh, my idea, my imagination, my vision for this is the correct one, and this is the one that I'm going to see to fruition because it's mine. And they just don't let other people fuck with that,
Yeah.
unless if they're looking for input, right? And it's normally from documented people, not random people, right? It's
right.
like, okay, if Elton John's giving you tips on your music, you probably would listen differently. But I think that it's like it we have this thing where we try to get the people that we love and care about to mirror our thoughts and ideas like they'll have them,
Doesn't
right? And
work.
I think when I was younger, in a lot of ways, it it affected me in different ways because I would be like, well, here's something that's important to me. But then as I got older, the more I realized that my imagination is so unique that I have to seek that out in other people that are similar to me. Nobody in my family is really into film. No one in my family is really into, I have a bunch of bookcases full of books. I think my mom will read self-help books and every now and then fiction. Nobody else in my family is reading, right? Especially
Mhm.
fiction. Like they just don't, right? And so I've always been like a storytelling black sheep in my family in this way. My brothers, I can't connect with them on it. So, you could go, oh, this is wrong as you're growing up if you had a bad negative family that went, oh, you shouldn't be doing that shit. But I didn't have that. So instead, what I had was support, but it wasn't like, you know how you always, for some reason, want more when you're like doing that mirror talking. You want them to say the things that you want to say to yourself, in a sense. And it's like, why not just skip that step and just say them to yourself? Why not journal about it and just say them to yourself, right? And it's like, I
get
feel
it from
confident.
there, get it where you can get it from, right?
I
guess.
Well, that's the thing, is like we tend to, like, imagine you have the most insane creative storytelling idea, right? Imagine your storytelling idea is Star Wars. Do you know how many people thought Star Wars was a stupid idea and didn't greenlight it? Many, if you looked it up. Many.
Right.
There's many stories that you could look up that are household name stories that did not get any traction because they were not in the right place with the right imaginations, right?
Sure.
And it's like, if that person, if George Lucas took it and went, okay, man, this isn't really connecting with anybody, it's craziness, I'm just going to let it go and stop doing it because none of these people connect with it. What would we be missing?
Yeah.
Now, he only had to go through that, Lisa Marie, a
honestly,
bunch of times, not just from his spouse, not just from his family, from a lot of people. And it's people that you actually trust too, that go, I think this is a stupid idea. You have to do it anyway.
I was telling my sister-in-law my vision, and all of a sudden, and I was just rambling, like, and all of a sudden I just kind of froze and I felt very, wow, this is not going over good or whatever.
Well, there's
You know
certain
what I
people,
mean?
yeah.
I just felt that feeling like it just totally depleted me, and I just stopped talking.
Yeah, but you got it out. And instead of focusing on their reaction, focus on your own excitement, and your confidence in your own excitement will change their minds. How do I know this? Because it's how human beings work, right? Think of some of the most crazy, we'll go back to it. Think of some of the most crazy storytelling ideas that you've watched or seen in films. They got made by hundreds, thousands of people. So, and then it had to go all the way to fruition and go through all these steps of this process to get there, right? There's even certain ideas or certain things that would have gotten knocked down years ago that now are getting made. So, or you could even go even further. There's ideas that were made that everyone thought were stupid, and then 20 years later are iconic. And now, because the audience showed up for those ideas, they were ahead of their time, musically, artistically. So, not everyone's praised in the time that they're there, and no one actually gets to write their own story in a sense, except for themselves. So
we can
what
write
Buddy's
our own
place,
story.
what Buddy's place is known as hundreds of years from now will not be under your control.
Right.
It won't be. The only story that's under your control is the one that you speak to yourself and speak to others. And if you let them change that story, and it's not yours anymore, right?
Right.
So,
So I'm going to let my imagination go. And you know what? If I get an idea, I've got to go with it because they are just coming like bang, 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 bang.
Imagine how many. Yeah, well, you share with me Buddy's place.
You're in the flow. When you're in the flow, it's like you stepped in again, the tractor beam. You plugged in, and now it allows all this stuff to be downloaded to you.
Right. Yeah.
And as soon as it starts downloading, you go like, wow, this would lead to this, and I can do this, and then that.
I know, I can see that. I can see it, and it's all backdoor light, but it's there. It's there. I can see that.
And just understand this, Lisa Marie. I want you to answer this question honestly, because everyone that watches this video live or recorded will understand that we're just human. Have you ever been jealous of somebody?
Yeah, sure.
Me too. So what makes us jealous of somebody? Is because we feel like they're they got more than us. They're prettier than us. They're cuter than us. They got a better body than us. They have privilege. See, this is a big thing in the world right now. Everyone's upset at people that have privilege, but they don't know their story. And
Right.
so when I started becoming successful in this industry, I realized immediately that there's a bunch of people that didn't like me winning. And it wasn't because they were mean or they wanted me to fail. But don't you guys think that it's weird that as human beings, it's like we love watching people on the top fall?
I don't. I
Well,
don't.
a majority of the people go, oh my God, good for them. So if there's something negative right now that came out about Taylor Swift, oh my God, you'd have half the world jacked out of their mind. But this is just what people do. So it's bizarre that you do it, but you're not aware you do it. So you should stop. But most people are just, you remind them that they're not imagining. You
Right.
make them realize that you're living on a different planet and they don't know how to live there. So you're reminding them of how much they gave away their dream, how much they gave away their imagination, why they settled for status quo, why they're conformists,
So
why
they come up with every reason why I shouldn't.
yeah. So they don't
Yeah.
want you leaving the nest.
Right. Yeah.
They don't want you. So, and then we think, well, we're going to stuff it down their throat. And then we find out, no, that didn't work either. But what's unique about going all in on your imagination is you'll consistently attract the people that believe in you and love in you and just keep encouraging you.
Right.
Because
Right.
here's the funny thing. I back in the day when I wasn't as mature as I am today, right? My mentor knew that part of me. And so he would say, Robert, you guys got to help people imagine if you don't imagine yourself. And he said, Robert, I want you to think of this. You seeing my check attached to the stub. I said, yeah. He says, when you get your check, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take color copies of it, even though they're $5 a color copy. Okay, this was back in 88, right? And so he goes, we're going to take color copies of those. You're going to cut them out, and then you're going to put them in get well cards and send them to all the people that told you it wouldn't work. My God, you guys, I bit into that hook, line, and sinker. So while someone was trashing my dream, you know what I mean? I was going, this guy gets a card. This girl's got a card. And then later technology made it easier for me because people had fax machines. And they look at me and go, hey, listen, I just don't think this is going to work. I feel sorry for you. Maybe you should go back and be a mechanic. And I go, do you have a fax number? And they go, I do. And I go, can I get it? And I get my next check and I just would fax it to all these people.
Speed dial. Here you go.
Until that was stupid to me. See, now I'm on the other side of my imagination. I'm making more money than I ever made as an auto mechanic. Everybody still thinks I'm at the top of a pyramid. You know what I mean? And people would get back to me, Lisa Marie, like a friend just recently called me, and old friend, David Beckley, the guy I mentioned that we built a drag car and stuff with, and why we moved to California. And you guys have heard me talk about one of my cousins, Rick, right? And he goes, man, what's up with you and Rick? I go, I haven't talked to him in like forever. He stopped by here in Billings, and I drove my Harley over and met him at the Outdoor World or whatever it was, because he was buying some stuff to go elk hunting with his son. And he goes, yeah, it was really, really bizarre. He said, I talked to Rick and he goes, oh, if you're coming back to, North Dakota, Montana, I suppose you'll be staying with Bobby. And David goes, Yeah, why wouldn't I? And I just thought that, David, one of our friends that we grew up with, I was closer to David than Rick ever was. But my cousin, that's a couple of years younger to me, is upset that a friend would come from California to visit and he'd want to spend time with me more than he'd want to spend time with him. I'm just going, this dude's 60 years old and he's still pissed off at me. And I didn't do anything but pursue my imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you be
Right.
mad at me for living the life that
You're
I
outshining him.
yeah. And man, you want to talk about all my friends being pissed off? I go, man, I said, I know I told you guys this story before, but think about this. In my garage is a brand new car that has less than 5,000 miles on it. And it can go from 0 to 152 miles an hour in 9 seconds. It's way faster than any Drake car that any of us have ever built. And I can drive it every day. I don't have to pay for expensive fuel. I don't have to buy new tires that I burnt off every time I raced it. I don't blow up my motor. I got this fastest production car sitting in my garage, and I can race it all day, every day. I could race it 30 times a day if I wanted to. They can't. So what do they say to me? Yeah, I just like the noise. What? I got involved for one reason. If I could beat your ass, I want to beat your ass. And if somebody invented something that made it more horsepower, that made it faster, and it wouldn't make any noise, I would have freaking bought it. Because I bought everything to make that car faster.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it's watching people struggle with the electric car world is the funniest damn thing I have ever seen. So people are buying these brand new cyber trucks. The first thing to do is take it out and say, well, they said it was bulletproof. We're going to see. And you can right now shooting Tesla. Those videos are going viral because people are shooting them with guns and it's bulletproof.
Oh,
And so I remember this one time where Jay Leno was riding with Elon Musk and they were in the Cybertruck. And he goes, listen, is it really true that it's bulletproof? And Elon Musk goes, isn't that fucking awesome? He goes, so it's not for security? No, someone said we should make it bulletproof. And we figured out by making glass a certain way and the stainless steel on each side, if it was this thick, that it could be bulletproof. And we went, yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. Let's do that. And it's not even a feature that they say. The same reason that the cars do a song, you know what I mean? And the gull wings are, doors are going. It's like, why? It's like you can sit in the car and every time you turn the blinker on, a fart noise comes on. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that isn't necessary.
Right. But it's cool.
I remember Elon Musk saying that, well, if you sit down with somebody, doesn't everybody talk about, well, does your car do this? Well, does your car do this? Well, does your car do this? And he said, I just wanted 100 things on a Tesla that other cars didn't do. So to think that he goes to the best engineers and the best imagination people and go, what do you think this car should do? He goes, well, what if you could switch a button and people could hear your voice on an intercom coming out of the hood? I think that would be funny. Let's add that.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
So I love you, Lisa.
I love you too. And I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to. What you're doing. Keep doing.
I'm going to. I've got little story dialogues for rescues that I can turn into reels. I guess I'm just struggling with which which programs to use.
I could help you with that.
Yeah, Matthew, that one that you said that we should be on the waiting list, the one that you're using to make your film, right? What is
Oh
that?
no, Pika.art is the one that I'm using. The
Oh, Pika
LTX
is.
Studio isn't out yet. Yeah. So
Okay.
when that is out, you'll be able to like write a whole script and then just put it in there and it will make it. Even though I've played around with some of these things, they're not exactly like the best. There's still a lot of work that you have to do, just like making
Right.
anything. But what's so funny is like I wanted to share real quick, Milo, my corgi's barking. But imagine for a second, so you want to make like a children's show or something along those
Well,
lines.
that Pixlr, that type, that would
Exactly.
be
So
awesome. Yeah.
what's so funny is when you're sharing an idea with somebody, right? And it's not in their head. So this is one of those elements of storytelling and creativity that's really hard to get over. But it's like, I always try to think, we all know what the Teletubbies are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the person pitching the Teletubbies to his family and friends. Imagine the person that pitches Barney to his family and friends.
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman,
That's
even more
true.
so.
He got his own show.
Now, all of us are
His
sitting
own
here, and
movie.
these are household names, even though we're not children anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sesame Street, Elmo, these types of things. So when you're thinking about sharing ideas with people, just remember those people as well. Remember that I guarantee you all of those people went through the same thing of sitting across from somebody and having this great idea to inspire a whole group of children or a whole group of people. And then the person sat across from him and went, I think that's dumb. Are you kidding me? Like they look like aliens from space. Like why would you ever?
I just
That
had an
makes no sense, you
imagination. I
know?
just had imagination that I got to share with you guys. I'm thinking of this giant purple dinosaur, and the dinosaur is going to sing a song, and everybody's laughing. You're going like, I think someone did that already.
And I know the
Oh,
song.
right. Wah, 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 like Craig would say.
Wah, wah, wah.
So yeah, just keep that in mind, you guys. There's no idea that you have or whatever that's too crazy or insane, right? Like there's always
Great
someone
point.
out there that's come up with something
Great
that's
point.
just as insane, maybe to you, but the reason we don't see it that way anymore is because we all got over it, right? Or we grew up with it. So then if we grew up with it, of course Sesame Street. It's like how many bats are there? We all get that, even though it's like puppets and a right? We get it
Right.
because we grew up with it. But
Matt, there was just somebody really, really huge in the music world. Craig could probably Google this, or some of you guys can Google it. But he wanted one of the tracks of his newest album to be with Kermit.
okay.
And I'm just going, that's when you got power, where you're doing your new album and you're about ready to release it. And they go, did you do any collaboration? Yeah, I did some with Willie Nelson, and then I did some with Elton John, and then I got Kermit. And people were like, what? Oh,
Kermit's
yeah.
only been on 5 songs. How'd you get him?
He's on a video too. I did the
Right.
collaboration with him on video, and people go, that's a puppet. You know what I mean?
I mean,
It's
we
like,
would watch late night shows with Jay Leno or anything when I was growing up, and these characters would show up and everyone would act like they were real, right? And why did we do that? To a certain extent, because it touched the child in us to laugh at them, but also for the other kids, right? We're like playing up that these imaginary people are real. Why would we do that? Right? Because we don't want to stifle their imagination. We don't want to ruin their excitement for the world because they're children. But why do we do that for adults? It's like if you
Right.
share Buddy's place, then all of a sudden
wow.
it's insane. It's not insane. It's so far
Right.
from insane.
Right.
So,
Just because I'm an old broad, I don't know. I
oh,
might
that
say
matters
think I shouldn't
zero.
have an
Zero.
imagination.
Most of the people, I bet you if you looked up, what was the guy that made Sesame Street? Craig, do you know?
Jim Henson.
Jim Henson. I wonder how old Jim Henson was when he made Sesame Street.
Oh my God.
Because like whenever I think of Jim Henson, obviously I think of him older. But it'd be interesting to know, right? Or,
Well,
you
like,
know, we could take Mr. Rogers even. Mr. Rogers,
that
how
out
old
of
was
my
he?
head, Matt. Good one.
Right? And he's
Yeah,
on this set with a bunch of
that's
puppets, a bunch of
true.
things. And there's a bunch of people that were there to help him out and spread that everywheres. And I guarantee you there was a bunch of people, there's a whole documentary about him that thought he was just crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
And all the people that said that was stupid, they don't do documentaries on stupid people.
Right. That's right.
My mentor one time said to me, and I love the whole concept where you think it out, like, because I'm human. So when I first met my mentor and he was going, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this, and like, you know, always testimonials. There was times, of course, all the time where I'd go, you know, I remember telling my mentor, Bill, that I'm going to be the very first person that hit the top rank, and that I wasn't going to wear a suit or wear a suit or cut my hair, got a mullet, you know,
Mhm.
or shave my face. I was going to be the first person that did that. And I just remember like it was yesterday, he was going, "Hey, Robert, listen." I said, "Sure." And he goes, "Do you know who won the Critic of the Year last year?" And I went, "No." And he goes, "Because they don't make the fucking award."
Mhm.
So he goes, "Stop trying to win it."
I love it. Right?
So,
Oh,
love
thanks,
you,
you
Lisa
guys.
Marie.
I'm anxious to hear everybody else. So,
Go.
um, that's all I got. Thank you so much, Matthew. I will be reaching out to you
Of course,
soon.
yeah. If you guys have questions, just post them in the Imaginator chat so everyone can learn from them.
Yeah.
So
Good.
the reason I made that chat on Telegram is so you guys can ask me questions and we all can benefit from them. So just to make it easier, right?
Hmm. Oh, for sure, because you know if somebody else is looking for the same kind of info.
Right.
Whatever.
And if I
Yeah,
get
for
the same
sure.
question enough times, you might spur me to make a video on it. So we'll see.
Oh,
You know
oh,
what? I just might do that myself when and I start learning
There you
these
go.
things. All
By the
right, thanks,
way,
guys. Love you both.
Thank
by
you,
the way,
Lisa Marie.
Jim Henson was 31 years old when he helped create Sesame Street. The show premiered in
Wow.
1969, so he
Your
was
age,
born in
Matt.
1936.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of, I mean, even I've a couple of these people that are household names to like me and stuff, right? Some of those animators, you guys would be surprised how many people don't write books, don't tell stories until they've retired. So common.
yeah.
Roald Dahl, like a lot of these certain people that are household names, Dr. Seuss, some of these people didn't really hit their fame and their stride till they were older and wiser
50s and
and had
60s.
and had the time to sit down and actually, and they also got past, you know, certain extent, maybe they got a lot of that shit growing up and it like stifled them for a couple of years, right? Where it's like, okay, I grew up and everyone thought the Muppets is crazy, but now that I'm 50, I don't care anymore what people think about the
Right,
Muppets,
right.
right?
Maybe
I'm gonna
that's
make
where we got to get.
I think that's the truth, but I think the more available creative tools get, the more easy it will be because I think, you know, you're going to see a lot of ideas. I'm on YouTube all the time. I see crazy ideas. So,
Where do you get all your information? Do you get a weekly or a daily
oh
AI
no, I
re
just am a
update?
researcher. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm on X. I'm on Reddit. I'm in a bunch of Discord groups where I communicate with people. So yeah, there's a couple of channels I could recommend for AI news that I think are really, really good ones. I'll link
Mm-hmm.
them in chat here. But still, a
Okay.
lot of that stuff is like probably 99% not useful for you at this current stage.
Right.
Okay.
Unless if
Good
you
to know.
really, really, that's like why I'm here in the Imaginators is to take, you know, if I'll just show you guys real quick because I'm always doing something, right? Let me see here.
I'm always doing something.
So with someone else, I'm trying to make this animated thing, right? With this other different art style. And obviously I've showed you guys this before, but it's like this huge animation set of things that I'm running on my computer. If you want to know about this stuff, then there's a lot of channels that are starting to pop up about it. But as far as like the specific tools that you could use on your phone, I haven't really found a YouTube channel that like just touches on those things, which is where I'll probably fit in the mix at some point, right? Because still at this stage, it can be, yeah, I'll get the Imaginator link. It still can be quite daunting because you still have to edit it all together. And one of the things I'd love to get into, I actually have a video that I'd love to show from OpenAI's event. It's a little long, so I don't know if we really need to watch it all here. It's 7 minutes long, but this dude did a presentation at the OpenAI dev thing when GPT-4 came out, right? And DALL-E 3 came out. And he went through his whole idea process now as a producer and how great ChatGPT is to realize ideas, right? And realize a whole entire world of creations. So I'll link that video as well. But it's really inspiring because there's really nothing. I mean, ChatGPT isn't going to sit there and tell you the idea is crazy. So
yeah. Well, Matt, thank you for sharing that with me because I think that not only should Matt create an Imaginator Telegram, but he
oh,
should
I already did.
Yeah. Did you really?
Yeah, you're just not in it.
I'm not in it. Perfect. Perfect.
You want to? I did exactly what I assumed you would want.
Watch this. I'm going to see if I can't kick you out of the Zoom. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'd invite him. I'd invite him to it. But it's funny. Every single time we have one of these groups, I know him well enough to be like, if there was a question where I would go to him, I would go to him with it. But me and Craig are the guys that will sit there and answer your guys' questions any day of the week. But
Matt constantly in the visionary group, you know, he's constantly posting things that I watch, and it just some of you like me, you go, I don't think that my imagination could go any further. You know, I'm pretty locked in. But Matt shares videos that if you guys have an Imaginator group, he can constantly put them in there because he just shared one with me about what NVIDIA is doing. You know what I mean? And it's like, all of a sudden, it's like no one thought, why not use an AI to create the next fastest chip? So you guys always see geometric growth go like this, you know, you're just constantly seeing it go. And then all of a sudden it goes like this and then wham. So he sends me a cut up version of the guy that, you know, that runs NVIDIA and talking about how big this how fast this chip is. And here's something that really is, again, you can look at this as exciting or scary. But when they asked the AI how to create a chip that was faster, it's now using physics that not one human being has ever thought of. Think about that. So they're telling it, you need to create a chip that's faster. Well, not only faster, but it uses less energy. It doesn't get as hot. So now they created a chip that's 30 times faster than anybody else's chip. And who is in line to get it when it comes out? Microsoft, Apple, Dell, IBM, Oracle. You see, Amazon. It's like when you create something and everyone's in line to buy a $30,000 chip. And some of these guys are going to be buying towers that they set in where there's 40 of them in a tower. It's like, how many people can imagine creating something so crazy that someone goes, wait, are you telling me one of the towers is 1.3 billion? Yeah. Can I get on the wish list? Can I send you a deposit? I want to be the first person that gets this stuff. So that's what's crazy. Every company that we interact with is going to be updated to these chips. That makes everything that we're doing, including our imagination, happen 30 times faster. So, yeah, Matt, make sure you share all that stuff with them.
Yeah, no, I will. I'm finding all the links and stuff here. Because, you know, like, it's funny because Sandy was saying when we did the podcast, I pulled up that graph from the NVIDIA stock, right? Like how much it had gone up. I'll pull that graph up for you guys right now. So I said this on the podcast, but in the last interview with Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI and runs ChatGPT, he said compute power will be the next currency. Like how much compute power you have will be the next thing that we kind of base a lot of things off of. So this is NVIDIA versus Bitcoin and gold and how fast it's moved. As you can see, if you would have invested in NVIDIA at the beginning of 2024 in January, you would have made quite a large sum of money. And I believe that right here is like not even close to where
you
it
would
will
have
get.
doubled your money if you bought a share of stock of NVIDIA at the beginning of this year. You doubled your money.
Yeah, and that's going to keep going up.
Ago.
Because like NVIDIA, believe it or not, like when you think of all the machines, all the robots, all the technology of the future, it will need what he meant by compute being the most important commodity is this used to be the way that we saw oil and gold, right? Like oil was the most expensive commodity. So if you were on top of oil fields, you were a billionaire, right? NVIDIA is the creator of the next version of the industrial future, where everything will run off chips and run off their programs. Every AI that is trained is currently trained off their chips. They kind of almost have a monopoly on this at this current moment. And that I don't see that really changing into the future unless if there was laws or regulations against it. And I was just joking with my dad that I knew that we needed to start investing in NVIDIA even more so because 3 days ago, Nancy Pelosi put more money into it. So that's always a good sign. So, you know, if she's investing in it, since insider trading apparently doesn't exist for these people, right? They're investing in it. They only get to make the laws against these things. So if she's putting money into NVIDIA stock, I'm going to go ahead and assume that there is not going to be any laws against this. And therefore, it's just going to run more rampant, just like it did for the oil companies, right? So as oil starts to go down, compute will start to go up. Every car in the next 100 years will be run off this technology. Every robot in the next 100 years will be run off this technology. And, you know, that will continue to expand. I think NVIDIA will continue to expand into a bunch of different places. One of the things they showed in their whole entire presentation is they're like, here's all the people that we're partnered with. And it showed all the logos and it was just everybody you could imagine. Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google. They're definitely all
top 50 companies for sure.
Yeah. So I think the only way you probably beat the S&P 500 because the economy has been growing like 30% this year. The only way you beat the S&P 500 is if you invested in NVIDIA. So overall, the stock market, that doesn't mean the economy is doing well. I always find this to be crazy. That people are like, the stock market's doing really well, so that must mean everyone's doing really well. No, not if you talk to people.
Only the people that invested in stock market.
In NVIDIA stock.
Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Craig.
All right, thank you so much. And by the way, if I may, Lisa Marie, there is a quote I posted in the chats that actually, when I got married the first time, it's ingrained. You can't see it really well here on there. You can kind of see it a little bit on this glass, this highball glass. Living well is the best revenge.
Excellent.
So that's the way to show, in my opinion, that's the way to show others. And that's what a lot of people do. And that's what kind of, Robert, you kind of inspired me to, that's why I stepped away for a moment, because it's like, oh yes, I got to make sure I got that quote right. That's it.
And to make sure those quotes are posted in a way that all the naysayers get to see it.
Exactly.
Like Lisa Marie, I think one of the funny things that you could do is when you are really, really settled on a logo for Buddy's Place, I think that you should find a way to get it printed because now that's so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Get it printed and, maybe get it in a magnetic sign and put it on the side of your car.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
When people are trying to stop me from imaginating, it's my goal in life just to irritate them more.
Right.
It really is.
Uh,
So I love you.
yeah, I don't know. But you know what? I've been still creating images and they come out. I got a hotter granny now. She's just smoking. It's
I know that's
AI,
you. I know that's you.
AI tends to make attractive people. It's just, I was joking
I didn't know if
with
it was
somebody
my
on this.
prompting or what.
No, it's like, okay, so you train an AI on a bunch of pictures of models, right? And people wonder why their complexion is perfect and they're all attractive. It's
Well,
like,
Lisa
oh
Marie,
yeah, they're trained
Lisa
on
Marie,
Photoshop pictures of models. So
yeah. Lisa Marie, I hope you hear this. I hope you all hear this. Your imagination sees you for the beautiful person you are.
Mm. Y- y- You know, I wondered if I wasn't prompting differently because I have not been able to get the same version. It's different a little every time.
yeah, character
So,
consistency is not there yet, and not in Dolly it isn't. So,
right.
you know, last time when I showed like Midjourney and stuff like that, there's some tools that can do that, but it's just a waiting game. So I would go, if you guys are trying to tell stories with AI art right now, I would recommend going into more of the trailer montage storytelling instead of going into a specific character storytelling. Because the consistency is not there yet enough, in my opinion, to like sit there and tell one character's story. But if you're going to tell the story of a group of people, or you're going to tell the story of like the farm, Lisa Marie, then
Mm-hmm.
take specific characters out of it. It might be easier to tell the current
Okay.
spot it's in.
You know, and that's kind of been hanging me up a little bit.
Me
And
too. Me too.
Craig, yeah, Craig too had mentioned, getting the name right. Well, they always misspell when I include something, like Buddy's name. They are
FYI, guys,
constantly.
GPT-5, it seems GPT-5 is coming out this summer, so probably June or July. And with that will probably be a new version of Dolly. And in the interview, he said it will be more of a significant jump from GPT-3 to 4, 4 to 5. So
Oh,
expect 5 to be 3, 4 times stronger than what we're playing with right now.
hmm.
So
I think
yeah.
all the images are getting more attractive to
They
me.
are.
Well,
They're
GPT's
getting,
learning what you
yeah,
keep and what you remix when you're like, I want another one of these.
right.
You
Okay.
know, when you have GPT, I think I showed you guys this, right? Um, if you have it make you like a picture of something, and instead of just constantly prompting it, right? Let me find one of my
I know
things here. I'll
that
just
it's
reprompt it.
like every
You can
time.
just
And while he's looking for that, Lisa Marie, please remember that, and I actually I did share that with you, but to everybody, ChatGPT is still learning. AI is still learning. It does not replace your imagination. So if Buddy's name is not spelled correctly, even though you put that in there, you can change it. That's how I adjust some of the videos and the descriptions that we come up with for Robert's shorts and for other things. Sometimes it doesn't come up with what it should be, the
Hmm.
way I am looking at it and the message that I want to share with people. So I make an adjustment. So it's not absolute. Don't think that it is absolute. Yes, it gives you a great idea and it helps to get you to imaginate more and to help bring up those ideas, but it's not absolute. So if you need to make a change to adjust it to the way you want it to be, just copy and paste the text, put it someplace else to the side, and massage it a little bit.
That's
yeah,
probably excellent
I
advice.
was gonna
Yeah.
say too, like for anyone out here, right, that has ChatGPT and you're like prompting it to make pictures of something, you can just keep hitting remix right here
That's the
over and
other
over
thing.
again, and it
Yes.
will keep going off the same prompt that you initially had. So see, I still have the first image, I could still download it, but I can keep clicking the regenerate button to keep
Let me
getting different
warn
pictures.
you though, what happened to me. I got booted out of Chat GPT for a week. And
Oh, really?
I did, and I could not get back into it, not on any device. I'm thinking, well, maybe I got to clear my cookies and the cache and all that and the history. Whatever I did, I could not get it back. And Fred had mentioned maybe I was abusing it. And didn't you
No, it's
say
not the
at
case.
one time that you had some sort of a time limit or something, or you could only have so many prompts?
Yeah. So I'll show you.
I probably was
We
abusing
we
them.
know that because it says it right here.
Now, why, I don't
So
know why.
Oh,
if you're using Chat GPT-4, you're limited to 40 messages every 3 hours. But if you use GPT 3.5, it's infinite. And the reason for that is every single time you run a prompt, especially photos, it's going through and using GPU power. So like exactly what NVIDIA is selling to generate these things. So yeah, it's like 40 messages every 3 hours with GPT-4 currently. If you're running
okay. I
into certain,
probably seriously abused it.
yeah, if you run into issues like that, I would recommend let me there's one tool that's a little
Do you
more
suppose
advanced.
that's why 3.5 told me that he does not create pictures? He does not create images?
3.5 doesn't have that ability. Yeah. So he doesn't
But
have that
I thought
ability
it
because he wasn't trained
automatically
on pictures.
went. I thought it automatically went to the image maker, the Dolly or whatever.
Yeah. So before ChatGPT 4, Dolly 2 existed with 3.5, but they weren't connected together. You had to use Dolly separately. It was a
Okay.
whole different website. This I've shared with you guys before. This one has an app as well. This is Leonardo.ai. This uses stable diffusion, which is exactly the same tool I was using to generate the videos you saw earlier. So where is it? These, right? This is utilizing stable diffusion. If you go to leonardo.ai or search on the App Store, leonardo.ai, they have an app. This has so many features, you guys, including, and I've showed this before, real-time generation, which is like a really crazy thing where, say, you want to do certain elements. I can say a farm full of animals. Look, it's generating it in real time, right? Instead of it
Wow.
thinking. So this is something I can do on my computer too in a Pixar animated style, right? And you just keep going and going and going with it, right? It's not always going to be perfect because it's generating it in real time. This one's a lot of fun. This is real-time canvas. So I can say a farm with animals, and then it will give me a guess. But if I wanted to start painting over here, I could paint certain things, and you'll see that that will change the photo over here. So if I wanted specific things, I could dial in and say, okay, I want to draw a little cow right here, right? And then it'll put the little cow there. But believe it or not, this is something you can download on your phone and do with your finger. Leonardo has a whole app. But the reason I brought this up for you, Lisa Marie, is they actually have image generation in here. And I've played around with it before. And it's just as good, if not better. And they have a bunch of different models here you can try. But this is going to get way more complex than talking to GPT, right? But this will give you kind of an infinite ability to do that. And they actually give you like credits every single 3 hours. So you really don't run out even on the free plan to a certain extent, unless if you're really abusing it. And then you just pay for the monthly plan. And it's not that expensive. But if you're like really into image generation, since GPT-4 has Dolly, but it's not really like, it's not really like the main thing that it's there for. It's just utilizing it. This is more of a generation tool for just images. So I recommend playing around with it. You guys will see all these images, and you can even see the prompts people used.
Oh, nice.
Right. And it has the ability to do image to image, image to motion. So you can even animate these things. But Leonardo is like one of those tools that I talk a lot about in like the groups that I'm in, because it's the easiest way to like kind of get into doing a total like done for you service. But it's just so much more complex than like any of the things I've shared with you guys, right? There's whole tutorials on how this tool works, but they have so many different versions of it that you could play around with. Like if I change this from a farm with animals to a plane in the sky, right? Now it's going to take that reference and like try to put a plane in the sky based off where I put it, right? Or I could in-paint, so then I could basically take an image that I already haven't put in here and then paint green over someone's eyes and say, I want it to be green eyes, and it'll be green eyes, right?
Oh,
I don't know how good this
very
is with
cool.
text. I will tell you guys one thing about Leonardo, though, that's different than all the other ones, okay? Leonardo doesn't really have the same guardrails that Dolly and Midjourney have. So you can create characters that already exist. You can create, to a certain extent, like if your story has violence in it or something along those lines, they're more okay with certain scenes being made. But like I said, in the future, there's still, I'm hopeful that one day there will be a tool that we all can use that's just like put your ideas in and then it happens. But we're still kind of at this spot. So this is just Leonardo.ai, and I recommend you guys check it out because there's actually an app that you can just download on your phone. Let me see here. It's this one. So it's on the App Store. You could do, I have one of those iPads with the Apple Pencil. This is so much fun to do real-time canvas with like drawing with the Apple Pencil, because you can like make any graphics you want or paint over current graphics you have and just change things. It's really fun to do if you have like a really niche thing that you want to change. So there's another tool for you guys to use.
Does
I
it
use
look
this
different for Android? Is that the same emblem or the logo?
It should be. I would just do Leonardo AI. Let me see if it's on Android. So unfortunately, it looks like it's not on Android. So you can still go to the website and use it. You still can go to the website and use it though in your Google Chrome browser on your phone.
Okay.
So with that said, I'm gonna move on here just because I want to give other people the opportunity and stuff. So
thank you so much, you guys.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I know we got sidetracked with just incredible stuff, and that's Imaginators. That is Imaginators.
Well, it benefits
Matt,
everybody, I know. So I think to a certain extent, like Coach Bob's putting his thumb up and stuff, everybody's going, okay, these are things that I could use. Because if you're more like willing to watch YouTube videos and learn, the sky's the limit with any of these tools. But if you're looking to be like point guided and directed, these tools are not exactly going to always do that for you. You have to be somewhat tech savvy to, if you're struggling with Facebook, you probably will really struggle with Leonardo AI, right? So, but GPT, like I said, give it a couple of months and then you'll have conversations with it and it'll make your whole video and website, and it'll be insane when Sora exists. So, there's nobody out there that really can compete with that at that current moment. So
cool.
Thanks, Lisa Marie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa Marie. Appreciate it. Okay, so we currently have 3 or 4 hands raised, Robert, if that's okay.
Yep.
All right. So, and by the way, welcome to Deborah Grady. She's got her hand raised. She's coming up. So hang on, Deborah. Thank you very much. Matt just posted the Leonardo link in the chat. So did I as well. So, and congratulations to the 7 people who have just joined the Telegram channel of Imaginators. So we're starting to get that flow going. We got a lot of imagination left to do. So in addition to Deborah Grady, we got Bill Shoemaker, Sandy Baker, but first, Katie Sanders, your hand. Yes, it was raised in that order. Your hand is next. So let her rip. Take off that mute bandage and let's go.
What? Okay, I am going to be super, super quick because I love y'all and you just don't need to hear much from me. But let me tell you about my victories. Through my imagination, so y'all know I fought the government and I won. So I'm taking $3,800 of that, my settlement, and I'm paying to have my whole nonprofit built by the professionals. I ain't got time for none of that. I need to be in the community talking to business owners, all that stuff. So that's a win. My logo is complete.
Congrats. Exciting.
I'm so excited. And I just keep telling myself, it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. Yep. I don't know what I'm doing. It's all going to work out. So today I was talking while I was serving in the nursery at church. One of the other ladies that were in there in the nursery works in the psych ward, lack of better terms, John Hopkins, Baltimore. Her statistics that she has, that's going to enable me to reach out to the right people on the suicide rates that skyrocketed when the mask mandates were put into place. It's just, God is just bringing me like the most amazing people who have access to the doctors and who have access to the resources and just all of the things. So now my website is in development. My logo is established. I am now imagining 24 hours, 7 days a week, money just flowing to my nonprofit from all over the world.
I agree.
And I will be also imagining hearing the testimonies when these kids become adults.
Yep.
And just hearing their whole journey that way. And I found myself saying something completely freaking awesome, but it just rolled off the tip of my tongue because of my complete and utter belief in what I'm doing. This lady, she said, well, Calvert County, the school systems and the speech therapy and this. And I said, oh no, honey. I said, this is international.
I love when stuff comes out of your mouth.
I was like, holy shit.
Did I say that?
And I, ever since, and Sandy, you remember, I am so grateful for a multi-million-dollar global organization. I have been saying that since Mastermind last March, 3 years. Yeah. So here we go. So that's my win. That's my praise report.
I'm proud of you.
I love you guys all. We're in it together.
Out of my mouth, I was talking to someone just recently, and they go, well, what is your outcome? I said, I'll have over 100 million people in Imaginators. I have never said that, ever.
Holy shit.
I'm going like,
and then you just sit there and you're like, yeah.
But this guy didn't come out and go,
no.
He's like, no. I stopped for a second, got my chicken skin and stepped into it.
And this is like more towards Lisa regarding that one person. Cliff is not that person, but I am still so private with what I'm doing behind the scenes because he doesn't need that stuff. He just needs to know, like, I'm happy. My soul is happy. I'm like, my eat, pray, love moment over here. Like, I'm smiling from my liver. Okay. So I'm living my Julia Roberts Pretty Woman moment in Bali with smiling from my liver.
Yeah.
And I feel amazing. Yeah. And I love you. Okay, bye.
Love you too. I love you too. Thank you, Katie.
Katie, thank you so very much. Wow. This is what's so amazing about Imaginators is the fact that we get to see you guys do that voodoo that you love to do and make it work.
I'll say too, like off what Katie was saying, me and Hannah now at this point, I shared this with, I think, Craig and my dad on the last podcast, but it's like, if I talked to my wife only about the stuff that I'm currently doing, it's like all that we would talk about most of the time. So we've already made like a rule where it's like, if we're out on a date, we're talking about us and what we want to do privately and our lives together. And we're connecting in that area, because when you're excited and your imagination's going, it can actually consume like your relationships and your other things where that's like, hey, I got this new idea, or I'm excited about this or that. And it's like, it is really healthy and really good to share it when it's done with them. So then they can be part of the experience of you finishing it. And some people like so badly want their spouse or their family to be part of the experience of making it when that's not their imagination or dream, right? So
yeah, my imagination is just telling Cliff, green lights on, baby. You can quit whenever you want.
They can tell that you're excited
green
and
light.
you're happy.
We're going to be at the Brazilian steakhouse with the green showing 24/7, baby.
I love that phrase. I love that phrase.
I love that advice, Matthew. Thank you.
It's helpful. It's been helpful
because we're so fragile in our marriages. I mean, our marriage takes so much, deserves so much of our hearts and our soul to connect.
Yeah, it's it's such a huge part of your life. And I think that it it becomes one of those things where you want to share that part of yourself with your spouse. But then at the same time, I think if you think of any massive creator out there, the ones that don't get repeatedly divorced because they keep doing this, right? It's like, imagine if you're with somebody and their only focus or the thing you always talk about is you. Like that's, or what you're doing or what you're up to. It's like, that's not a relationship. You're asking for a cheerleader and they're tired of it.
That's what y'all are right here, right? We got our biggest cheer squad.
Surround yourself with people that are going to help you in that vision, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes your spouse, like Hannah's very creative, my wife, and she'll give me story ideas based off of mine, right? So we could play off of each other, but we have different imaginations that go in different directions. So we've realized it's like, okay, you're going to make the things that you're going to make, and I'm going to make the things that I'm going to make, and we'll share them with one another. But yeah, our imaginations are completely different. We want to tell different stories. We want different tones. There's different things. It's like, if you're into romance and I'm into horror, those two things sometimes mix, but it's like a little weird if they do, right?
I love you.
Like Fatal Attraction level stuff. So yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it for Katie and Lisa Marie for bringing it up earlier. Is it's like, maybe just in that position, just share the exciting bits, like the highlights with your family and with your partner.
With Cliff, I met the most phenomenal person that's just going to help us soar.
Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. And they can tell by your demeanor and your attitude that you're happy. And if that pisses them off and they're upset, shame on them. Shame on them. Yeah. You shouldn't have to share all the time why you're excited about every specific thing with them for them to get it. They should just be happy that you are. So thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Oh my God, the shares here. Katie, thank you. Matt, thank you, of course. Let's keep moving on. Hands are up. And I did say that Sandy Baker is next. So Sandy, thank you so much for your patience. Go ahead, unmute yourself and please share.
Hi guys. Hi. Okay. So I've been really doing my images. I've been really learning a lot from Matt, and I'm getting so excited about it because I learned you put in exactly what you wanted to do, and it may not come out the way you want it, so you just try again or whatever. I, Lisa Marie, never put words on my images. I tell it no words, no text, and then I go over to Canva and I add that on there, or I use WordSwag and add that on there, because that way I don't have to worry about any of it being wrong.
Nice.
So I've been doing, my self-love images and putting all of those out there. And of course, you guys know that I keep talking about I'm an energy healer and I'm going to help women love themselves. Well, today something happened that I'm pretty excited about. And I can do this now, distance, and I can do this with kids. So I can help young girls start to love themselves now when they need it to. And I got my, you can't see it. I got my Reiki too.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Show that right up to the camera. I've now got it open and spotlighted. There you go.
Second degree. Oh my God.
Second degree. So I got my first degree 2 years ago, and I just kept on putting it off, and I've been doing a little bit here and there, and I finished it about a half hour before this Imaginators. So I ran out and I said to my husband, look what I got. And he goes, what is that? And I said, that means I can do energy healing distance now. I can do this. I ran downstairs. My in-laws are living here. They just moved out here from New York State, so they're staying with us until they find a place. So I ran downstairs to our lower level where they are. Look what I got. And that's all I wanted to share.
Sandy, how long have you known this about you?
That I wanted to be an energy healer, that I could help other people. I have always had, since I was a real little girl, I've always had people coming to me with their problems. So I always knew that I could help people work through things. I just didn't think that I did not know I could get paid money for that shit.
Wow.
And now I know that I can. So now I'm getting my certificate so that I can.
I am so proud of you, because I have a friend, I probably mentioned to her before with you. Her name is Valinda Dupree. And one time I called her, her and John, her husband, they are so out there, right? And they got all these degrees and all these different methodologies,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember calling them about, well, hey, listen, I'm thinking about, flying into Phoenix and doing a couple of sessions with you. And she goes, you don't need to do that. What time do you got free today? And I go, why? And she goes, well, just, get into your
Zoom.
get in your state, and let's say at 5:30, I'll just send healing your way. And I was like, what?
Yeah. So my
So,
website's all
so
go
I
ahead.
wanted to ask Sandy, since you've known this about yourself and that this is a gift that you have, how many people are like, so now you can heal people anywhere in the world?
Yes.
When I get third degree, I'm going to start doing it on different planets. And it's
Right.
like,
Right. Right. So my website is all done. And full disclosure, I had somebody make it for me, and she picked out some like brown taupe colors, totally not me, because I have to have these. Where's that? Somewhere on here, I have to have these kind of pretty colors.
There you go. We see it now.
So I got to change everything on there. So I'm learning how to do my website now so I can change all of that. But it's up. So if anybody knows anybody that wants some self-love, send them right over to my
What is
website.
the website?
Selflovesandy.com.
Love
And I
that
want to
domain.
say too,
Hercules, I'm so proud of you.
Deborah, thank you so much for reaching out to me. I really enjoyed our chat. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All
Love
right.
you. Sandy. Proud of you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. And I will post that link in the chat just as soon as we move on to the next person. We've got 3 hands raised, and I think we'll call it right after that because we've got Ola just raised his hand. And Deborah, you're coming up, but right now it's Bill Shoemaker. Please go ahead, Bill. Open up and share with us.
Well, the #1 MC in the world and the facilitator of the amazing Imaginators, Mr. Craig Jackman. And,
bless you, my friend. Thank you.
And not to mention the man with the imagination, the imaginator of all imaginators, Mr. Robert Hollis. Okay.
I can't have 2 in one show. That's
I know, but I got to work on my MC. That's just a good place to work on it. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. So love and appreciate you, brother, and all you're doing. I'm just excited. And I had a download about how I was approaching life and business. And it came to me. I did a Zoom with Corky, Santa Corky. And it was just so wonderful to connect with another brother. We're both recovering alcoholics, but anyway, it was great because it made me realize that I don't have to worry about how many people I'm going to connect to each day. I just got to connect one person at a time and truly connect to that person to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, one person at a time, making a difference, one person at a time.
And that allows you to, again, we hear the things about connecting, discernment, learning to say the words that those that have ears to hear. All these things are only accomplished through practice.
Right.
And so people sometimes ask me all the time, wow, Robert, you're so quick at helping someone figure out where they're blocked and how to get rid of things. And all I'm doing is trusting that gift, trusting that gift that if I continue to put myself out there, then I'm going to consistently attract people that really, truly want a better life in every area.
Right on. And I'm following a doctor. He's 68 years old, but he really reminds me of you because of his attitude, and he's just so connected. And he said one thing that just struck me. He goes, I'm a mechanic. I go, oh my God, he's the mechanic of the human body. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So I really wanted for you to meet him Would you be offended, or would you mind if I sent you a video of him?
No, not at all.
Right. That was just a man. This guy reminds me.
Why would I be offended?
Well, I know you wouldn't be offended. I just wanted your permission.
Thank you. You got it.
All right. Awesome. And today from Rhonda Burns is happiness attracts happiness. And it attracts everything that you want in the world. So all you have to do is be happy and you get everything.
It's true.
Regardless of what's happening, just be happy.
Yeah. Power of positive thinking is huge. I was going to say, I was just sending this to Craig. I'll just tell you guys this real quick. This is just developing, but OpenAI now is currently in Hollywood showing off Sora to all the Hollywood studios. And apparently that when producer Tyler Perry, for you guys that know Tyler Perry, he actually got to see it in action and was so impressed that he put on hold his $800 million studio in Atlanta, right? So we knew that he had seen it, but we did not know that, or we had known that he had seen it like all we did, but we didn't know that he saw it in action. So he said, being told that it can do all these things is one thing, but actually seeing the capabilities, it was mind-blowing. While the businessman in him sees the opportunity, he also expressed worries about the people who work in the business. There's got to be some sort of regulations in order to protect us. If not, I just don't see how we survive this. Now, obviously, they're going to continue to talk to people, but, you know, it just goes to show, right? It goes to show that currently we are living in like less than 6 months away from Hollywood being disintegrated. And they're already fully aware of it enough that they're like in conversations to use this technology. And so OpenAI even said in here, their goal is to get as many filmmakers and storytellers using this software as possible to decentralize all the fucking problems that Hollywood currently has with the way that they tell stories. And that is like, some of you may have stories just like Lisa Marie that imagine if you had that story and you had to go through all these pitch meetings and everything like Jim Henson probably had to do. That would suck, right? You have to be a specific type of personality too to do that, right? Not everyone's that way.
Oh my God. We're talking where Lisa Marie was saying that, you know, she's constantly aware that there's people out there that don't want to support her. One of the awards, I think that we brought this up on one of our other videos, is one of the awards. I don't remember what it was for. I think it was script. But when he got the Oscar, the very first thing that he did when he stood up there is he says, I don't know why I feel this way, but I just need to say, wow, all the people that heard me pitch this and said no. And it wasn't like he wanted to stuff it down their throat, but he was just saying, wow, if the movie industry could just fund instead of one, you know, $3 billion Marvel movie, is there any way you can split all this money up and allow more people to tell a smaller story, you know, 100 to 200 million? You know what I mean? Why does it always have to, why do you got to turn everyone down? And what I love about this is everything that has to do with change, you have a group of people that want to fight change. Look up in history how well that works. So you got this whole group of people that are like, not in my industry. All right, it's not going to be in your industry. We're just going to create two other industries that have never been talked about before and just make you irrelevant. And so people want to fight change. That is not a smart thing. And I forget the guy that did the quote, Craig, that the worst statement ever said is the most destructive statement that is ever said is, well, this is always the way it's been done. So this is the way it's always been done. It is the most, it stops creativity. It stops imagination, you know? And so it's going to be cool because there's always been these people that felt like the game wasn't, and this is the way I looked at internet, you guys. This is the way I looked at internet. When internet came out, I went, I can compete with every company on the frickin' planet. Not me as a company, me as Robert Hollis. One day, billions of people are going to be hooked to this, and nobody can stop me from finding them and talking to them. That's the way I thought. And now I look at AI, and all the people that have always asked questions about why am I this way, and they can ask something and it comes back and it goes, oh, you didn't know that everyone thought this way? And then some people found ways to get around it by doing this, this, and this. It's like the way to catch imagination is hang around other imaginators. So, Bill, thank you very much, man. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, it's funny,
brother.
Yeah, I'm reading a little bit some of what people are saying about this, and it's like introducing Hollywood to Sora is a bit like introducing a horse to a car. It's like, hey, here's the thing that everyone's going to use in 50 years, and you get to use it first, but then everyone's going to have it. So it's interesting because they... Go ahead, Dad.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say there's a lot of, when they say regulations and stuff, there's no regulation that's going to slow this technology down. It's like slowing the internet down. And the people that make regulations will never use this technology. So it's...
I heard a small clip the other day, and the guy goes, even though AI is moving as fast as it is, everyone's scared of losing their jobs, except the people that are figuring out how to use AI to do their job. He goes, those are the first people that are going to replace you.
Yeah, people with AI will replace the people that are currently working 100%. In any industry, like say someone brought up insurance or real estate or any of these businesses, the future is one person working with multiple AIs and being more in that managerial position. And because they're not human beings, you can actually hire managers that aren't pieces of shit, right? Because like to a certain extent, some managers, it's a game of like bullying or whatever it may be. So that won't even exist anymore. So that'll be really nice. So I think that there'll be a large amount of people that you'll see jump onto this technology in Hollywood because it replaces VFX, it replaces a lot of areas, right? But as the technology gets to all of us, it will kind of like
level the playing field.
Yeah, it will really ruin Hollywood to a sense in a certain aspect, just like YouTube already has been doing. Like there's already been this big movement. If you ask Gen Z, I just saw stats a little bit ago, millennials and Gen Z, I think it was like a majority, over 60% of people that are Gen Z don't even watch television. Their main source of entertainment is YouTube and TikTok. So when you go, hey, have you seen this new show? No, I don't. That's not what I consume. Have you seen the new video that's on YouTube from this creator? No. Well, then you're on the same playing field, right? Because only 100 million people have seen this. How many people have seen your show, right? And that's like that's the new world we're living in. So I think I've said this before, this technology will come to all of us. And I could easily see there being full feature-length movies on YouTube or TV shows on YouTube that get millions of views per episode, that are being advertised on, that are making millions of dollars with merchandise. That's really where it's going, right? Like the studios of the future will all be on the internet. So.
Hey, man, I just wanted to thank you, brother. I took your advice on consulting with AI, Chat GPT. And I didn't realize that you could make it voice activated where you could just talk to it. It's like you're talking to somebody. I didn't realize that, but I started doing that.
If you guys want to do something even more crazy, when you ask it things, when you first start that voice conversation with it, say that you want it to have breaths, ums, and uhs. So then if you start the conversation with that, watch how it responds to you afterwards. It will have ums, uhs, and you'll hear breaths in between when it's talking. It sounds like a human being. The only reason that's not in there automatically is because it freaks people out. So, but eventually it will be, right? Because we'll all disconnect that thought of our mind where this isn't another thing that we're talking to. Right now, we still know it's technology that we're talking to. But at some point, like I love this joke Sam Altman said. He was like, AI passed the Turing test 1.5 years ago, and everybody didn't care. And the Turing test is a test that Alan Turing invented based off of whether a human being will know whether or not they're talking to a computer or not. If a computer can pass the test where you're unaware that you're talking to a computer, then it's sentient enough to be human, right? Or at least mimic humanity. It passed that spot when GPT-4 came out. So now that test is like, it's kind of like AGI. Every single time somebody comes up with it, it's like, let's just move the goalpost a little bit of what this is, right? It can already do so much, but thanks for sharing that, Bill.
Yeah, you said ask it to do what? I didn't catch that.
So when you do the voice message stuff with it, ask it to put ums, uhs, and breaths in between its responses.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And then when you start talking to it, it will be yeah, see, like Eric Markham said. He's like, yeah, it will do that, right? It will like have those in between speech things that all of us human beings do, and it makes it feel a lot more fluent.
Can you program it to say like after every 3 words?
Of course, just tell it to do that. It'll speak to you any way you want. You could tell it. Yeah, any of you guys are doing the voice stuff. If you tell it to speak to you like a Shakespearean playwright, right? It will speak to you like a Shakespearean playwright, which is funny, right?
Can you program it to use the real voice?
Yeah. I mean, you can't. The thing is, you can't train GPT right now currently on your voice or someone else's voice for specific reasons. But if you have a computer and you're using stable diffusion stuff, this is why a lot of people, if you looked at the stats of the amount of people that are falling for phishing schemes, it's drastically went up because now they're getting these people that are in their 80s and stuff are getting phone calls that sound like they're from their grandchildren going, "Grandma, I need money. I'm in a really serious situation and you need to send me money here." And they're going, "Oh, okay." And then they go down to one of those places and send Western Union and send the money to some random spot, right? And that whole voice technology, all they needed was their Instagram feed videos, and they only need like 1 or 2, 30 seconds of their voice to mimic it. So any of you guys on here, we've all talked enough to have our voices mimicked. So
beware.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a whole future where we're all going to be like questioning one another. And I'm interested to see how that turns out, right? Because I was already seeing someone's making YouTube videos that look like he's still sitting in his spot. I was going to test this on myself, but I could take everything that you guys see in this footage right now and take all of my movements and inflections and train an AI on that, and then it would look like I'm just sitting here talking to you guys, but I'm not, right?
I'm way ahead of everybody because I knew when the internet came out that I shouldn't believe anything that's on the internet. So,
isn't that what Abraham Lincoln said?
Yeah, exactly.
Abraham Lincoln.
I think that was an Albert Einstein
he said that.
quote.
Abraham Lincoln said exactly what you just shared, Robert.
I don't believe anything I hear on the internet. Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Robert. Love you guys.
Matt,
love you.
Love you guys. Love you, Bill.
Imaginators, let's rock.
Yes. Bill, thank you so much for sharing and appreciate that. Okay, Ola, you're coming up after we hear from Deborah Grady. And before Deborah, you start, I just wanted to share, Robert, I looked up that phrase, "This is always the way it has been or done." Nobody actually has a quote saying that. It's just referred to by a lot of different people. It's often used to reflect a resistance to change or innovation, but there's no specific attribution.
Thank you, Craig.
All right, Deborah, go ahead, open up, and please share. Welcome to your first Imaginators.
Oh, I am so happy to be here. I mean, last week was my first trip here. And this whole week I have been imaginating like crazy. But before I get started, I just want to say it's good to see some familiar faces I haven't seen in over a year. But I want to reach out and say hi to Melody because I know she's on here listening. And I'm so grateful and thankful that she and I connected again and that we're back in each other's lives. So Imaginator, just for that, that's priceless. And
Wow.
And then I just wanted to say that with Matthew, I've never really got to know Matthew that well. I'd seen him on, or, a little here and there, but never really got to, start knowing his personality and stuff. And last week, the whole time I couldn't shake the thought. I'm like, he reminds me so much of my grandson. He reminds me so much of my grandson. And so anyway, I want to show you a picture. Can you see it of my grandson? I mean, they look alike. They look similar.
Wow.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna let me take out these two guys here for a moment. Show it up to the camera now.
Okay, is it showing right here?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so you know what he's doing right there is, for Christmas, I got him this box. And when you opened it, money just started flying out everywhere. $5 bills and $10 bills and $20 bills, because he's my little entrepreneur. But he's real techie, like Matt is. So the reason I'm so excited is I said to him last week, I go, guess what? I go, I've asked you a couple of times if you would teach me and show me about this AI and this chat GPT, whatever. And you're like, oh, Grandma.
Just say AI. I've been having trouble getting it.
Yeah, whatever. I'll get it. But he's like, well, Grandma, it's just so it's moving at super speed, at really high speed. There's no way you could catch up. You're already a year behind. And what was the other thing? So anyway, then I went in his room last week. I mean, after I came on here, and I go, guess what I'm doing on Sunday afternoons at 3:00? I go, I'm learning Chat GTP, and I go, look on my phone, and look, I've already started talking to it, and I go, and look at my genius AI. I go, I don't know much about it, but I go, but I'm going to catch you.
Way to go, Deborah. Way to
go. So I was just so excited about that. And just the warmth here.
You should be. The one thing I love about what Matt said is, like, you guys remember, I know that this always sounds like, you're talking about when you're old, right? That, man, I look at technology when it first came out, and the programs that you had to load and how big your computer had to be to run certain programs, and how much of a learning curve that is. And when you just see the, how simple and easy, like Matt, like when I first got Terry a tablet, and I'll never forget that I opened it up and it said, pick the language. Hello, I pick English. And then it says connect to the internet. And I connect to Wi-Fi, put the password in, and then clicked on it. And it's like, done. What do you mean done? Because I remember having a computer that every time I got a new computer, it would take me a week, if not months, to get all the programs that I had on the old computer downloaded and put on the new computer. And now they got all this cloud stuff and everything, and you just get a new phone and put them next to each other, and you agree, and then the phone says I'm done, and it's like transferred everything over, your settings, your everything. So Matt's been encouraging me that as each one of these things come out, they're simpler and easier to use. So it's almost like one of those things where it used to be years of things upgrading, right? Like maybe the newer phones, right? But now with ChatGPT, some of us could be spending a lot of time learning how to use it when they come out with the new one, and now we got to learn again. But it's less that we need to learn. You know what I mean? So, so I'm so excited about the future, but that's cool that you shared that, because you get to be the cool grandma.
Oh, yeah, I am Grandma Grady. That's what they call me. But I wanted to share real quick about my imagination this week. Is that all right?
Please.
Okay. So you recall that about 3 years ago, I started writing my book, and Max Miller came on. I took his beta course, and then, his life went another direction. And I felt kind of stuck after. I'd learned just enough from him that when I went back to writing, I was just writing from my heart before. Then I learned just enough from him that I got stuck on every sentence. Now, my book is 12 series. It's called Flawed to Finesse. And this is the kintsugi I got from Melody the day you gave her the kintsugi vase on live and I'm like, that that is the vein of my story, is about the broken pottery with the gold mending, you know, the story of the kintsugi. So I have like 12, you know, it's a series of 12 with the books. So I've been stuck and I'm like, you know, I just can't get back to writing again. Then I came on here last Sunday and I'm like, I don't have to write. I don't have to write. I'm going to make an animated movie out of this book, and that's going to solve 100 problems, because even writing it, I kind of, you know, two people that were going to be mentioned in the book because they were significant in my life, passed away. And that's when I felt God say, you can write your book now. You know, but it was still there was places that were heavy. I mean, you can relate, Robert, with your childhood too. Mine was really, you know, very unique.
Right.
But, you know, so now with the animation, so my first story starts off about me being abandoned at 18 months old, you know, just left, abandoned. And so now, you know, I went to Chat GTP and I'm like, tell me about an abandoned 18-year-old baby, you know, and it is so proper. I just love it because let's see, where is it here? Anyway, it says something about this being a sensitive subject, and you know, I was like, well, how kind of you to, you know, I mean, and I'm like, Alexa, you're fired. I'm like,
yeah.
You know, so anyway, it told this beautiful story about Moses, you know. With the next one I went and I'm like, see, I can do that. So then I ask it, I go, describe a female Moses floating down the Nile River. I already have my, you know, and I'm like, this is so much softer and kinder and more, you know, for, you know, parts in my story being animated like that and being more like a Disney type thing. I can go with that because I mean, I love graphic arts and, you know, I come from an artistic background. So, you know, I'm like, this is right up my alley. And I've only
so now
been
so now the imagination is wide open again.
It's wide open again. And it just
when Matt started telling me about AI, it was like there was little things that I would do with it. And now I'm like, oh my Lord, I ask it every question that I used to ask Google or YouTube, I'm putting now in AI. And it's like stuff that, you know, for me, it's like, you know, give me definitions like on me wanting to be more connected. I find it very interesting. That's what created Imaginator, is me using AI and going, you know, so, you know, what is love? And what blows me away is you write stuff in it, and then it always says, well, depending on who you are, it's an individual thing, your environment, your social, you know, it just said every time you ask it a question, like you would like it to have a generic definition of a word, it keeps telling you, oh my God, this is different for everybody on the planet. To think that the AI, you know, you go on there and you say, well, how many names is there for God? Thousands. And it lists them off, and, you know, people that are Christians, you know, or it's like, wait, there's only one word. No, there's not. If you go into AI and put how many different names is there for God in the King James Version, and then you got to go, wow, I've only been using one.
I know, or Yahweh.
And so it breaks it down to when all of a sudden you start realizing that there's, you know, thousands of different names and definitions of those names. And then we got different definitions of the words. It's really giving me the point where I'm going, oh my God, everyone's the same. They're just different DNA, and they got to create their imagination of what their connection is with the world. And unfortunately, a majority of the people in the world are not doing that, which means that you always will find an audience for your voice. Think about that. It doesn't matter who you are or what story you're doing or the way that you express yourself in your imagination. There is millions, if not hundreds of millions of people out there that went, God, Deborah is just an answer to my prayers. And because of her and her courage and her bravery to put her story out there, it's like the imagination when the one that I love is Kobe Bryant. Of course, a majority of the people on the planet know who he is. So then he puts together a little animation story called I Love Basketball. And before he leaves this planet, he gets an Oscar. What?
I feel like we should play that one of these times, Dad. I don't know how long it is, but it's definitely something to show if you haven't seen it.
Really super short. It's really super short. But I bet you how many athletes on the planet went, my God, that was the imagination that I had about what I'm doing. Why didn't I ever think about writing it down and sharing my imagination with the group of people? And that group of people went, I know exactly who can the hell do that. I know exactly the people we need to go. And it's like, really? Yeah. And then they go over, and of course, people that love imagination are great at it. So a person would pick out a piece of paper and just start drawing. You know what I mean? And you're standing there and you like get all emotional, and it's like, that's exactly the way I seen it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. It's like, that's what's so cool about where we are in the world is there's a whole group of people that are, scared to death that something's going to take something away from them. And then there's another group of people that are going, this is an answer to my prayers. Why Matthew is so jacked out of his mind, you guys, is because Matthew believes that whatever's out there, the universe or whatever it is, it's all conspiring to help Matt share his imagination. When you get up every day and you're thinking that, wow, thank you. All these people got together and said, let's not tell Matt, but we're going to create these chips and these AIs and these different things, and let's just throw them all at him and watch him change the world.
It's because we're in the Matrix. That's why.
That's right. We are. We are in the Matrix.
The more I dive into AI, you guys, the more I'm prompting it. And I'm like, okay, when bad shit happens, whoever's up there is just prompting the wrong things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny to think about it that way, but sometimes that's the case. So,
well, you're either connected to it or you're not.
Yeah, I think, me and my dad have talked about this a lot. It's like, okay, you buy a red car, and then you see red cars everywhere. So it's like, it's not necessarily that you're bending the universe to your will as much as it is your awareness of the things that are for you are more in your control than they were before. So it's like, oh, all these tools exist and all these things are happening. There was tools that revolutionized filmmaking before that existed. It was just, I was prepared and ready for this one. Right. So that's what's so exciting about it. I couldn't imagine a better time to be doing this stuff. So,
yeah. And Deborah, I want you to understand too, is like, I know that you wrote it out. So that means that you can copy the text. Copy the text and put it in AI.
Yes.
Whoa. When Matt first told me about this stuff, there was a really, really close friend of mine that recently took his life. And I was like, when people say, I don't have the words to express the feelings that I have. So I did my best, and it was like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to post that on a website or a Facebook feed. And I put it in AI, and I said, I'm having difficulty expressing in words how much this person meant to me. Can you help me? and it wrote 3 of them, and all 3 of them made me cry.
Oh,
And I was going like,
that's beautiful.
man, so this person means a lot to me, and I don't know how to express. And it's like, listen, I'll give you and then Matt knows how to keep prompting it, you guys. So can you imagine if those 3 weren't enough? I could prompt and say, that's a little too emotional. Or I could say, can you go more emotional? And it goes, oh, all right. Right. And it's like,
yeah. Like I said, it puts you in the director's seat, right? So if you think of film production or anything like that, there's this main imaginator that sits at the top that's working with all of these incredible creative departments to get one imagination to come to fruition, right? You're just in the director's chair now with AI. So it's like if you want to tell a story and you have a writer that's working on the story with you and you have this idea for a story and they brought it to you and you would say what? You'd be like, I like if it was a little bit more emotional, except now you don't have to feel bad about it because the AI is like, it's like a dog, right? It's like, oh, you want me to do another trick? I'll do it. It just continue to reward me, right? And so, like I think, man, if you just think of yourself in that place, the amount of creative abilities. And I was sharing, Deborah, even with everybody, and I know Sandy used this to make a video. There's already a thing that you can utilize to write music and songs for your stuff. So when you start thinking, you brought up Disney, right? What's one of the most iconic things that Disney is great at, right? Those big musical numbers, right? You can do that with AI and tell your stories. Like I loved The Prince of Egypt when I was growing up. The Prince of Egypt was a great animated film that I'll always remember, right? And that reminded me of what you were talking about. So very incredible story told through animation.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. But I agree with what you just said. I had a little bit different view because I'm sitting here just yesterday, something really sad. And I'm like, oh, I need the words. I can't think of the words that are deep enough to express this sorrow I feel for you without sounding like everybody else. And so I always have to say, God, please give me the words. And now I can be like, God is going to say, I did, and quicker right here with AI. That's how I was imagining.
No, I love that because that's optimistic and moving forward too, Deborah, because I do work with some creatives and they still can't grasp around, and you'll see this a lot moving forward. They can't put their minds around that these are just another tool to utilize for creativity. It's still like, oh, you're eliminating human beings to do this. And it's like, that's existed forever. What are you talking about? Like even talking about Disney, when 3D animation started to become a thing, they stopped doing hand-drawn animated cartoons. You could have said, let's never do 3D. Pixar, you can't exist because we want to keep doing these cartoons the way we've always done them. Nah, not going to work that way. Computers exist now, so now we have animation. Visual effects. How many movies do you guys see nowadays that have visual effects in them? Every single one of them. And it's like, that's a computer doing that. You used to have to draw that stuff in with like a matte painting. You'd have to paint the background and then shoot it through a camera in a specific way. So yeah,
it's exciting. Yeah,
very exciting.
My very first mentor I ever listened to one of these $1 million tapes back in 1980. I was like in my 30s. It was the first time I'd been heard the word entrepreneur. And I will never, ever forget, he said, use old-fashioned values and modern day tools.
Brilliant.
And that always just stuck with me, that, keep those old-fashioned values and your morals and your, but use modern day tools and you'll go far. And I was, so that just what Matt just said. I mean, it is so true. I've always kept that in mind. That's why I've always been like, I want to learn the next tool that's coming out, because if you don't keep up, you do get, I started off when it was a wraparound computer. And, I've been my dad had me on a typewriter when I was 3
typewriter,
a military Remington typewriter. And, and it's evolved, but I got so far behind just in the last like 5 or 6 years. It's like, what happened? But
well, you probably went from your, I do this all the time, is it's very important for me to be aware how I feel about my creativity and my imagination. Because it's so easy for me to get into a thing of imagination, and I'm so inspired and I'm so fired up and I'm so on, running at 100, scale out of 1 to 10, I'm running at 100. And it's so fast where I can allow my mind to then say to me, yeah, but you need this, you got to do this, you got to get this done. It's like immediately the distractions immediately attack us to get off that mark instead of just allowing the miracles to happen. And so we step into this realm where all of a sudden it's like, well, I need this to make that happen, and then I need this to make this happen. And people just are not aware that you just shout it from the rooftops, get your imagination, shout it from the rooftops, and figure it out as you're going. Because there's some people that are just so talented out there that they would take your stuff like Max did for me, and now you take that stuff, you put it in, then you say you want it to be written in a way of a hero's journey, and then the next thing you know, I need this written in a way where I can upload it on Amazon, and now your book is for free on Amazon. And you're sending the link out to people going, hey, I just finished part of my book. I'd like you to check it out. And it's on Amazon. Here's my link. Then you take it and you put audio to it. And now you can use AI to do your voice in the audio of the book.
I know, it's crazy.
So that was somebody else's imagination. Don't ever forget, we're experiencing stuff right now where people with bigger imaginations went, I wish it could do this. I wish it could do this. I wish it could do this. And then bingo.
Thank you.
I love you. I love you. Thanks for sharing. You're always amazing. I love your energy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you so much.
One
Deborah.
more, huh?
One more. We got Ola. Ola from Sweden, as you like to say. So, Ola, go ahead, please. Unmute yourself and please share with us.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Ola. How are you doing, Superman?
I'm highly favored, blessed, and deeply loved. How are you?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the Imaginator group, so I hope I asked this question in the right group.
Well, let's just throw it out there and see where it lands.
Yeah, because you have really got my imagination going the last week. I love it. So,
Ola, what I did to you, that's what I do to other people, and that's why I'm so blessed.
Yeah, I understand that now. It's awesome. And I have recently, unfollowed other leaders on my email because I just want to follow you. I need to get hyper focused to achieve what I want to do.
Right.
And you actually did my dream a reality also, because you said the other day that, if you get 50K in MDC, you will make 5K a month. And then I realized, then I would be free from the rat race. And 50K isn't that much. It's possible. It's more than possible. So
yes,
I'm just dreaming all day now. Yes, it's so fantastic.
And the way that I do it, as you know, that's part of imagination, is I just go, okay, how could I create 50,000 in volume a month?
Yeah.
I know what my mind does. 50,000. Okay, I could get one person to spend 50,000. No. See, my mind goes no. So what I do is I learned this from somebody, is you reduce to the ridiculous. You just keep reducing to the ridiculous, and then you raise your imagination. So if you go, 50,000. Could I get 50,000 people to do $1?
Yeah.
I could, but 50,000 is a lot of people, man. A lot of people doing $1. Do I think I could get them to do 10?
Yes.
Yeah, I could. Still a lot of people. Do I think I could get them to do 50?
Yeah.
50 in volume? Yeah. See, and it what it does is it just keeps adjusting your brain, because you'll say, do I think that I could get 5,000 people to do 1,000? And then your mind goes, no, it's $1,000 is too much for people. So see, it allows you to be able to really find the part in your mind where you go, I can do that. And I even divide it into numbers. Like I'll turn around and I'll tell myself, okay, so if it's $100, so I'll take 50,000, I'll divide it by 100, and that's 500 people. And then my mind goes, holy crap, I could do 500 people by myself.
Yeah.
My mind goes, so what if I'm only good enough, like Jim Rohn says? What if I'm only good where I only can get 1 out of 20? See what I mean? Then I go, okay, this is how many people I got to go through. Well, if I connect with people in a nice way and then compliment them and give them a gift, how long does that take? Even with the voice clip. And my mind goes, that takes 15 seconds. 15 seconds. How many people could I contact in an hour? See what I mean? And I just, so if I shorten what I say, I can connect with more people. And for those of you that are really playing with your imagination, like I said to Ola, find something that emotionally impacted your life and make sure that's on your YouTube channel. Because now what you're doing, you get up every day and you go, this changed who I am. So I know that I can go out and share this on my YouTube with people all day, every day. So imagine when I got in, Ola, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't the cell phone. And I went, I'm going to get this book to as many people as I can. And I know the numbers. I know the numbers. So if I tell 100 people that they need to get this book, how many people will get it and call me like I asked them to? And then I thought, well, I don't care, because I was the one, when my mentor told me to read this and call him back, I was the one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just have to find the right people that have ears to hear. And I already knew going in that, like I said with you, Ola, if we talk about anything else, it's like our mind and imagination immediately go, that's no problem. So for those of you that don't know, Ola's a skateboarder. And I said, so he gets up in the morning, he goes, I should go skateboarding. And I told him if he reached out to a bunch of people and said, hey, do you skateboard? No, I think that's stupid. Hey, just have a great day. Bye. I just learned to do one other thing. So, hey, Ola, do you race cars? No. Could you do me a favor? Do you know anyone that loves cars? So I immediately, as soon as someone says no to me, it's like, I gave you a gift, do me a kindness, help me out. Who do you know? So when I started out, I didn't believe that anyone had money. Why would I think that?
Because
I didn't have any money. So they go, hey, reach out to everyone you know that's got money. And I go, okay, that's nobody, you know? But then I have confidence to ask strangers if they knew of anyone that would like to make 6 figures a year. And they go, well, what is this? Why are you interested? Well, I don't know what it is. Well, I need you to watch this video. Can I get your phone number? What time do you get home? I'll call you from the landline and set up a time where I can get my ass in a car, go to a map, and drive to someone's house and show them a VHS tape. Do you see why I get really pissed off at people today?
Yeah, it's easy today compared to that.
It's like, so my mentor said, hey, get this video in front of 70 people. I got it in front of 72. 11 people came in and bought product. 6 of those people duplicated and made me over $1 million before the age of 30.
That's yeah, it's unbelievable, but it is believable. I know it's true. So,
Yeah. So when you ask people, hey, do you know anyone that writes a book? Likes writing books? No, I don't know anybody. Do you know of anyone? No. I'm not offended by that. I'm like,
No.
come on, you know somebody. Why don't you want to write a book? See, those things we just let fall off our back like water off a duck's back. Then for some weird reason, we get involved with companies like MDC, and now everyone that doesn't say yes to us or do something or come in and buy something, we just think everyone's an asshole. So why do I want to talk to negative people that are assholes that don't know how to dream with no imagination, and they won't do this?
No, true.
So that's when Bill taught us, hey, reduce to the ridiculous. So my mentor looked at me and said, hey, what's your magic number? What do you mean, what's your magic number? Well, if I could show you how to make a certain amount of money in the next 30 days, what would be that number? $3,800. I need to make $3,800 by the end of this month. And this is what he said to me. I can show you how to do that exactly. But again, you have to see an opportunity here, don't you? I turned around and walked away. And I got up my crutches and I chased his ass down. I said, you can show me. And then he started drawing the circles, the theoretical example. And he got me to dream. So all of a sudden you're making $500. So you see in your account that there's $500. What would you do with that 500? Well, I got this one bill that's been bothering me. I'd like to pay it off. Okay, so you pay it off. How would that make you feel? That'd make me feel pretty awesome. And people forget the little things. Can you imagine, Ola? I know things are different where you live than in America. But what if you just said to people, hey, I started doing this. The first thing that I really accomplished is I was able to be debt free. I don't owe anybody anything. And then I made enough money to do this full time. So now I can do it whenever I want, whenever I want. Then what? I bought a home. See, all of a sudden it's like people forget the little things that imagination did on its way up. I wanted a 10 grand check. My mentor had me so far out there that he even said this stuff, Ola, to me. He said, well, I'm going to show you how to do this. He said, you know, and I'll use our name so you guys got it. He said, Robert, do you know if you hit 25K? That's called sales coordinator. And he drew out all the commissions for me, 38%. Now I'm in company that paid 50%. You know, so he said 38% of this volume, right? He goes, that would be $9,800. He goes, can you imagine making $9,800? And I went, what? And he goes, imagine opening up a check and your name paid to the order to, and it's $9,800. I went, wow. Now he says, I'm going to tell you another story. And it's weird. But what if the check had 2 numbers before the comma? So instead of 9,800, it was 10,000. We're only talking $200. Would a $10,000 check be more impressive to you than 98? I'm going like, hell yeah. And he goes, then we got to shoot for 27,500 in volume. Now, this is how smart my mentor was. Do you guys think I hit 27,500? No. I just barely missed it. I did like 27,300 and something. But he made me imagine hitting 27,000. I didn't hit it, but I went past 25K. See how smart he was? Because sometimes when we have imagination of hitting 25K, we hit 24,300. And it's like 2 nights left of the month and we're struggling. And then we're borrowing and stealing whatever we can do to try to get this rank advancement. We can't duplicate that. So now even if we hit the rank, next month we don't hit the rank. And now we're defeated. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just set the goal a little higher because he gave me the imagination. So my check from NSA was $10,210.
Damn.
Ola, I turned into a maniac.
Yeah.
Because now what was I saying? My deal was a little different. Hey, Ola, I was hoping you could help me out. I don't know if you know a lot of people, but I'm looking for someone. Oh, by the way, I made $10,210 last month.
Pretty easy to recruit people, huh?
It is crazy how you get directly to the point.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be all this fact telling and storytelling.
No.
I'm helping a person expand a company. I'm learning from him. He showed me how much he made. He showed me his online banking. I'm learning directly from him. And I'm looking for people that would like to walk away from their job.
Yeah.
And now it's numbers. Keep an imagination, go through the numbers.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Love you all. I love
you so much.
Proud of you. And I will say one more thing to you, Ola. When all of a sudden you've seen somebody on a skateboard, isn't that bizarre? You've seen somebody on a skateboard and went, I'm going to get a skateboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I got inspired and then I just did.
You imagined yourself doing some of the things that other skateboarders did.
Exactly.
And the first time that you attempted anything didn't go very well.
No.
But you imagined yourself doing it. So you knew in your heart, in your soul, in your spirit, if somebody else did it, I can do it. And you know how they did it. They kept attempting it.
A lot of practicing, a lot of.
And then all of a sudden, all of a sudden you do one and it's like, dang, I almost had it. That was the closest I've ever been.
Yeah.
And who are you usually hanging around when you're trying to do tricks?
Other friends.
Other people on skateboards. What?
Yeah.
So now you almost pull it off and everybody goes, whoa, Ola, man, you were close. I know, right? That's what
the same thing. Yeah,
that's what imagine. I love you, Ola.
I love you too. Thanks.
Okay, Craig, if you don't have anybody else that reached out, let's close this out, man.
All right, Ola, thank you so very, very much. And actually, even thank each and every one of you very much for making this Imaginators an incredible event. Shout outs to Lisa Marie Cook, Katie Sanders, Sandy Baker, Bill Shoemaker, Deborah Grady, Ola Meyer for participating directly. And then, of course, for everybody who put things in the chats and kind of added to the conversation, thank you so much. Saving the chat, very simple. For those of you that are watching on Zoom, click the three dots near the chat, like near the title of this webinar, this Zoomcast. Click the three dots and then click on Save Chat, and it will download as soon as we finish up here. If you're watching us on YouTube, the chat will come back in a little while, but I will put all the links and things that we put in the chat in the description below the YouTube video so you can watch it. And yes, as Robert is sharing, boy, everybody's plugging in. We are plugging in big time. And look at how everything, our imaginations are growing. This is Imaginators, or should I say, this is the Imaginators.
Greg, you're amazing, man.
And special thank you, Matt Hollis. Thank you so very much for being our foundation and also for being our go-to today on a lot of all of these subjects as we imaginate getting better and better, or excuse me, gooder and gooder every single day. Love you, man.
Thank you so much, Craig. Love and appreciate you too.
Thank you, Matt.
All right.
You, Dad. Love
So,
and appreciate you.
All being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with us and taking time out of your busy schedule to be part of our Imaginators Zoom and broadcast. Please be good to yourselves, be cash, bye-bye, and I'm going to unmute so that we can all say so long for now until next time.
Bye.
Hey, thanks, Robert, Matt, Craig.
Love you guys. You guys are
have
awesome.
a great Sunday.
Nice Sunday.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
Hold on, Sandy.
Thank
Craig,
you guys for getting
were
on here with us.
amazing today.
Bless you all very much.
Arthur, Coach Bob, Peter and Linda. Hi, Peter and Linda. Yeah, there it is, the double one. Hi, Rue.
Bye, Rue.
Here's that Rue.
My
Hi,
corgi
Mary.
puppy.
Hey,
There's
Guy,
my other
Melody,
corgi. It's Milo back
Daniel.
there.
And then I got to say Peter and Linda 3 times. Peter and Linda, Peter and Linda, and Peter and Linda. There we go. I love you guys so much.